on my feed. Let me go check that out. It's supposed to automatically tweet out whenever I start up the stream.
Okay.
I don't see that it has, so let me go check that out. Oh, crap. Oh, is that so we don't have the echo going through? All right, now that I have that. Wait a sec. There's two different. All right, let me. I don't think that's the right link for me to send out. I got to share this out somehow because I don't think Twitter automatically did it for me.
I see a YouTube link.
Oh, did it come up in my feed?
Yeah, there's a YouTube link to play. Must be the live cast. Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, cool.
What's up?
Hey, more people joined in. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a YouTube notification. It's up.
Well, let's go ahead and introduce the people we have on the stream as of right now. I'm Aiden Crenshaw. I'm hosting the stream. This is basically something to do to kill time on a Wednesday night, discuss whatever issues we like, and hopefully I'll be more coherent this time because I don't have any mead or any other alcoholic beverage with me. Jason, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Jason Raveling. I'm a web developer, and I kind of get into network security as just out of curiosity. So that's why I joined up in this hangout.
And I'm Warren Parsons. I'm a senior electrical engineering student, and I like to hack hardware mostly, but I'm into software as well. Got a big programming background and all of that. So there you go.
Well, is anything new with anybody? Any topics today? Actually, you know what? Before we go into topics today, I should probably do this in podcasts that I'm not even usually on. They announce where I'm going to be. So I should probably say what all cons are upcoming that I'm going to be at. But first, I have to actually find it in my drive. I keep a large list, but we'll list the next couple of ones I'm going to be at. I don't know if any of you all have been to any of these ones, but a bunch of smaller ones coming up. Got B-Sides Huntsville coming up on February 4th. Got B-Sides Tampa coming up on February 11th. I have B-Sides Nova, North Virginia, coming up on February 25th. And then B-Sides Indy, or Indy B-Sides, March 11th. I think they had to change the name around because someone else always owned the Twitter for the B-Sides, and then they stopped doing it. There's been a few B-Sides where basically they exchanged hands. And there's been confusion about who exactly has the Twitter feed. And we're joined by Pseudo Hack. Say hello.
Pseudo Hack sent a chat. They're looking for their headphones.
Ah, okay. Get that chat up here.
So did you get the YouTube video shit all figured out? I was playing around with the open broadcast software or whatever, OBS.
No, truthfully though, I hadn't looked into it a whole lot.
I think OBS would be the cat's tits if you could, like if you had a second monitor or something and you could share that second monitor and do it that way. You could almost switch back to Google Hangouts and that could be like your studio monitor. But then you have to sacrifice a monitor for 4 hours, so that's up to you.
Yeah, I've used OBS. It's pretty good for screencasts.
What do you use?
You're talking about screencasting this? I don't know who was talking there.
Yeah, I was talking about OBS, right?
Yeah.
Adrian's heard about OBS. He knows what's up.
Yeah, OBS is what I use actually for recording the conferences.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's one of the better ones I found out there.
Yeah, and it's free, and I've been messing around with the newer version that's multi-platform, but sometimes I get mixed results. And I've been messing around with a capture device here recently. I thought the capture device was busted. Yeah, but I've been messing around with who's the echo? Multi-platform, but sometimes I get mixed results. And I've been messing around with the capture device here recently. I thought the capture device was busted.
Yeah, Amanda, you might have to mute your mic or use headphones.
I temporarily muted Amanda. Did it go away?
Yep.
But now she can't say anything. I'll unmute her. Well, I can't unmute her. Wait, why can't I unmute her?
I don't know if you unmuted Jason, maybe.
Oh, already muted.
No, I muted myself. I was worried that I was going to be making too much noise.
Yeah, but Adrian unmuted someone, and I saw your mic go unmuted.
Maybe we did it simultaneously.
I think she muted herself, so I'll let her take care of that. I think she can tell us in chat that to change that.
Is that any better?
Oh, that's a lot better.
All right.
Hello, Amanda.
Hi.
What's your story?
So, I did. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
When did your book come out?
Whoa.
Getting a lot of echo.
Did you get that last message there, Amanda?
When did your book come out?
No, she says 1 second to the webcam.
I'm not sure what her issue is.
Yeah.
This is the kind of quality production values you expect from Irongeek Cast.
Yeah, but you delayed the going live on YouTube so everyone would join on Hangouts prior, but I don't know if that I don't know if that worked out.
Yeah, well, there was me and Jason on at least.
Right? Yeah. Oh, Amanda, it's probably because you have the YouTube live tab open as well.
Yeah, just have the one that you're streaming from come up.
Yeah, I'm a moron. I figured it out.
Yeah, I did the same thing. No worries. I kind of had to listen to two Adrians there and answer the question at the same time. So.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm talking to. I just heard everything twice. All right. My book comes out in beginning of March.
Movie.
I think you were on a different Ironcast maybe
was on
last week or something.
I was, not last week, the week before.
Yeah, number 0.
With my kids.
Okay, I never joined in time to catch everything, so go over your book and what it's about again for the viewers and for me.
Oh, all right. It's called The Defensive Security Handbook. I wrote it with Lee Brotherston, and it is a best practice defensive security all around, like for sysadmins and people that are starting information security programs in enterprise.
Cool. So it's goes through best practices and stuff like that.
Yep. So we have like a Windows chapter, a Linux chapter, a IDS IPS chapter, one on purple teaming, one on user education, one on creating a framework for the whole program itself. Just pretty much everything.
How are we going to be able to get that?
It's on O'Reilly's website,
Okay.
or you can Google it. Man, they do a really good job of putting that out everywhere. I was really surprised. Like, it's at Barnes and Noble and Amazon and everywhere.
Like, so there's no better way for you? No better way for us to get it for you?
Well, I get more money if you get the electronic copy.
Okay.
But I personally like physical books.
Okay.
I don't really get much money at all anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Most tech offers, my understanding, you do it mostly for a name recognition value and to say you've done it and so forth.
Yeah, it's always been on my bucket list of things to do. So
I'm there with you on the real book thing as well. Yeah, there's nothing like a real book.
Some of the e-ink screens have gotten better and better, but yeah, I like pages.
Yeah.
They
And
smell better than a screen.
depending on your screen.
Nothing like that new book smell. Fuck yeah.
I worked in a library for 10 years, so, you know, I got used to
You
it.
get off on book smells.
Oh, yeah. It makes the pages
Why am
thick.
I the only one with my camera on? I feel awkward.
I feel like I'd say, Bam, oh, you actually want to see what I look like right now?
No, I wasn't talking about you.
Oh,
I know
okay.
what you look like.
There's nothing like the smell of a new manual.
I gotta go grab a hat before I turn my camera on.
It's all about the way the books smell when they come back.
Oh dear. It all depends on what kind of library you're working in.
Mine was at the General University Academic Library, so I think we did find some porn mags one time hidden up someplace, but generally, most stuff was pretty tame.
Dude, looking in the wrong section. You need to go to the art section.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the art section.
Oh, for sure.
Y'all like my hat?
Oh, it's great. Is that a real skunk?
Yes.
So
Oh, I thought your cats started fighting again, and that's what ended up happening to one of them.
No, it's a polecat, but that's about it.
is that from Mary?
Oh no, this one is not. This one is well, a relative passed away recently, and I inherited some stuff, and he wore this hat to various mountain man events. He was into black powder shooting, so
you look like a mountain man, Adrian.
with the beard and so forth. The glasses aren't period appropriate.
You could pull it off.
But
Yeah.
I think I pull off the mountain man thing pretty easy.
Fuck yeah.
The next hacker hangout will be about axes.
So what's your
computers?
Yeah,
I
was
got
just
20
gonna,
tomahawks too.
what's your preferred method of starting fires?
Napalm.
Actually, I found something recently. We found this out at Mary's place. You can actually take a Dorito and light it on fire, and all the oils and fats in it will burn for a bit, and it actually doesn't make too bad of a fire starter.
Yeah, I saw something similar with like a crayon.
Yep.
Those things will burn for like fucking 6 hours or something. Maybe not that long.
I save all my dryer lint.
No, that's pretty cool.
Philip Riley is saying that my friend's live stream discusses best security practices. Did you listen to the last one? He asked about whatever's going on. Whatever.
I'm just on here because I'm procrastinating. I was reading medical journal stuff and I got bored. So
yeah, I had to get my board layout done last night, so I'd be ready for tonight. So,
what kind of circuitry are you working on?
it's a MOSFET AC dimmer board. So it takes your mains voltage out of your wall and it slices up the sine wave so that you can dim the load, basically. And it does it in various ways. So there's PWM dimming, there's reverse phase dimming, forward phase dimming.
why would you want to do that?
You can control the speed of a motor, you can dim lights in your house. What's cool about it is controlled by an Arduino, or Raspberry Pi, or anything that can talk I2C, UART, or PWM. And so like, let's say you wanted to start a movie and you got a projector room or something like that, and you want to have your lights dim like they do in the movies when you start the movie. You could program a script on your computer, hit play, and your lights would dim like a movie theater or whatever you want to do. Smart house shit, controls speed of a motor, etc., etc.
I'm glad you're avoiding the IoT route as well, man.
Ah, yeah. Fuck all things, including Internet of. So there you go.
I spent my day doing some work stuff, testing out video capture equipment, because apparently I have one piece of video capture equipment there. I thought the capture device itself is broken. It looks like the USB 3 cable is broken. So hopefully I get repairs. For some reason they want to make a video of it and post it. Besides that, I accidentally inserted myself into an argument between a second wave feminist and a third wave Tumblr feminist of some kind. I didn't mean to, but
right.
I meant to reply only to the second wave feminists who actually know a little bit online, but I accidentally, because of how
what kind of feminist am I, Adrian?
You only think you are. No, sorry. I don't know. Second wave, maybe?
Okay.
We have to discuss your exact values. But I was trying to reply just to the second waiver, but because of Twitter's web interface now, it was really. Oh, actually, I think it was off of what's the name of the web interface? I was trying to unselect who I was replying to, and I thought I unselected the person, but apparently replied to both of them. So now I have a nut job who won't shut up, but keeps telling me to fuck off, and then keeps replying to shit, but it's telling me to fuck off.
That's fine.
Come on, Adrian, don't feed the trolls, man.
I don't know who's. Hell, I don't. There's some mentally ill motherfuckers out there on Twitter.
Yeah, they're trolls.
Some of us trolls are only a little bit mentally unstable.
Oh, us trolls, you're. Oh my God, they're propagating.
The best trolls make everybody laugh.
True.
That's the best type of trolling.
Mm-hmm.
Never gonna give you up.
All right. Well, that's my key to leave.
What? We're trolling?
She's got a chapter on that, man.
Oh, that's something that I'm so excited about. Being an author, you get to put whatever the fuck you want in the book, right? So it has a whole bunch of like Easter eggs in it. So like every IP address I use as an example goes somewhere. I have a whole bunch of people's names in there that I know on Twitter. I have there's hashes in there that actually turn into something like real. It was really fun.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of reminds me of some episodes of Mr. Robot where they stuck a few IPs in the show. People went there. And
that was like the huge rabbit hole thing, wasn't it?
Oh, it was like fucking 5 layers deep, and I can't believe this guy reversed 5 layers of this shit. And it's on his blog, and I'm like, holy fuck. This guy, he deserves.
I saw that on Reddit.
He deserves a medal.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I thought it was interesting. One time I saw an IP and I figured I'd try it. I went to Darlene's website or her file server. I thought that was interesting.
I still need to go watch that show. I've heard good things, but I've not actually seen it.
Right.
It's on my list of things to watch.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, how many film directors do you think just said to the person on set, yeah, just do something that looks technical?
All of them.
Well, they do all those scenes in Flash, I think.
Oh, they're and Arrow.
Yeah, so they're
horrible.
The actors bash on the keyboard and it types the correct shit out for them because it's all done in Flash.
It's horrible. Listening to them talk about hacking stuff just
reminds me. There's a website called Type Like a Hacker, and it does exactly that advanced.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks great.
It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some shows have gotten better though. That she was mentioning that the actual real consultants hired on for doing Mr. Robot.
I think that's the only one that's decent, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but the amount of hacking to actual story was I gave up on it. I haven't watched it all the way through, so I can't comment on the second series.
Oh man, season 2 just it wasn't like season 1. It didn't drag me in. They were trying to go into the whole story about E-Corp and political, logistical, corporation bullshit. And they didn't get on with it like they did in season 1. And I was like, fuck. So it kind of tapered off. But the end of season 2, I haven't watched it completely, but I got up to episode 5 started taking off. And I've got up to episode 7. So stop there.
You won't be disappointed.
No, you won't.
No? I guess I got to continue watching.
There's a lot of fan theories, and I thought I would be disappointed, but I don't want to say too much more. I wasn't.
Yeah, don't say anything. Shh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Spoiler alert for the 5 people watching.
But how many people are going to be watching on YouTube tomorrow? This is recorded.
Do you think? Did people watch the last one? Where'd Adrian go?
I'm here.
Yeah, where is he?
How many
watched-
people watched the last one?
I have no idea. Usually people after the fact get on it. If I was to go to my YouTube, I want to say we had like 300, 400 people view it later on.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it seems a little weird.
Yeah, that was me seeing what I said, because I was like 5 beers deep, I say. Only 3 this time, so.
I listened back to it. It was good because I missed the first 3.5 hours because I was asleep, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I always join late, so this time I made an effort.
I was doing an actual podcast the last time.
An actual, yeah.
Well, yeah, this is not very informal. Just gives me an excuse to not to have something to do on a Wednesday night. Let's sit here and shoot the shit with you fine people.
It was either this or laundry, so
This sounds more fun than laundry.
yeah.
Not as productive, probably, but
Oh yeah, I should have a parallel process going and do my laundry right now.
I thought tonight we could do a little bit of a talk on legacy hardware, software, and its implications in security.
oh, let's have at it then.
Sure.
That might be an interesting kind
How
of
much-
angle.
How much legacy? Like how?
Well,
Like
This-
XP legacy or like mainframe legacy?
yeah, well, I'm talking COBOL and things that were written a long time ago for say, I don't know. There's a lot of financial institutions that use that programming language.
Yes.
And obviously they still need to maintain them today, and how much of a headache that causes for the head of security, like having to run things that are out of date, things that are no longer in support, things that are just random bizarre bits of software that one company depends on. They depend on that software because they don't have another process or can't afford to implement something else.
It happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just at a meetup, and there was someone who worked doing software for airlines, and I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like the black boxes and things like that. And they still used assembly, he said, because it was too much work to do all of that over again in another language. What would you guys think would be problems there? Any suggestions?
I think one thing to say about the black boxes is that they're real-time control systems, so they require a low level of processing, so they've got a very high refresh rate and are able to do things at real time. So maybe the reason that they programmed them using assembler was for that reason. There's a possibility.
Yeah, and I think the fact that it's written in assembly, like you said, it's really efficient, it's really quick, it's well done. You can do a really good job in assembly, but the reason they probably haven't upgraded it, though, I'm thinking, is because it's hard to reverse assembly. It's hard to think what they were thinking just looking at the assembly and going, oh yeah, that's an if statement. Oh yeah, jump, okay, they're calling a function, or so to reverse it, unless you have the original programmer that came up with the assembly in the first place, it might be a little bit hard to reverse it
That's
and upgrade
interesting.
it.
Interesting. I don't know much about assembly other than it's old, so that's interesting. And at least it's not networked, I would imagine.
Well, you're looking at things like move these bits to this register and conditional jumps, jump to this function and do this thing, return this. And it'd be hard to be like, oh yeah, that's an if statement, and they're just doing this for this reason,
Yeah, like basically, you have things like resources, so you have strings, and you can move objects to display them to the screen, put them in certain registers, and it's a very low level way of doing things. I mean, even I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even think assembler has a times function. I think you have to put a number into the add register, and then you have to call the add register over and over again, like the amount of times you wish to multiply that number by. But yeah, it's interesting stuff.
It all depends what the processor has as assembly functions, I guess, for lack of knowing the correct term right now. But some processors do have a multiply function. A lot of the modern ones do, but a lot of 8-bit shit, you'll see that, yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And the compiler will know that. So
Yeah, I think rewriting would be the issue because maintaining assembly, unless someone has very copious comments, I think that'd be a pain in the ass.
Just eventually, all the people that knew it really well are going to die off, right?
Kind of like COBOL.
Right. And AS400.
Yeah.
oh fuck. Anybody want to hack Staples? Because they use AS400. I'm gonna let that be publicly known.
Nope, no thanks. That would involve learning it.
Yeah.
I had one class on AS400 in high school, in college, and then they discontinued the class. We had a guy that worked at the hospital that I was at, that was his only job. He slept at his desk all day unless somebody needed something on it.
It's almost like SAP.
Yeah, right.
A little bit.
Yeah, only thing I know about AS400s is they're real prone to falling over if you scan them with Nessus.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
It's about the number one thing I actually would look for to be worried about. I've also seen some like UPSs, they don't fall over, but I've seen ones that scream whenever
They freak out. That was our IDS alerting.
Yeah, I had that one company I tested, and I was like, they didn't know me via any kind of IDS, but they knew me. I was there because of it. I was like,
Right.
a bunch of APCs, maybe.
Yep, that's what it was. Like, oh, we just got 500 APC alerts. Somebody's scanning the network.
Oh, I also got to combine my love of lockpicking with information security directly, electronically, because I found like some Schlage electronic door system that had a default password on it.
Oh, nice. Oh, oh, I don't want to go off topic too much, but I know somebody that has like an RFID. So the same model locks that were at the Shmookon Hotel in DC. They're trying to mess with it and get in. But.
Well, I have a Proxmark 3, which is really good for messing around with RFID shit. And there's a certain type of RFID card that you can get that has a certain chip inside of the card that can emulate different types of protocols, even though it's one card.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of that card, which would be useful right now, but the cool thing is that if you have a MyFair card or you have an Indala card or whatever, this one card can be programmed to emulate that protocol.
I was seeing some cheap equipment. I know Bill Gardner got some of it. There's someplace in China you could order like RFID cloners that was specific to only one particular model, so they weren't as flexible as the Proxmark 3, but it was like $30. But I have to check with him to see exactly how well that works. Sometimes he joins in on these. I don't know if he'll see it tonight, but
actually, the way I got my Proxmark 3 is I went on Jonathan. I think I'm gonna butcher his name now. Warthius. He was the creator of Proxmark 3. Anyways, he laid out the whole board and everything. I went on his website and he said the next person to email me will get 30 blank PCBs in the mail. Okay, I emailed him. I'm like, I'm an electrical engineering student. Please send me these things. And anyways, I said I'd pay for the shipping. Blah blah blah. He sent me them, and that was the hardest board I ever made. I made it from scratch. I ordered all the shit from DigiKey, put it in my toaster oven, and I reflowed it. And got it working, and it's sitting in front of me now, and it's pretty sweet.
So if you build it yourself, how much does the parts cost?
When you're doing it yourself, the BOM total comes to about 140 bucks.
Yeah. When you put in your labor, if you're like a professional pen tester, you might actually be better off just buying it as far as money.
Yeah, that's. I came to that conclusion about 8 hours later. So there you go.
Oh, by the way, welcome Adam Morgan to the stream.
Hello.
How's it going, Adam?
Oh my gosh, somebody else that has their camera on.
Yeah, Adam also has like a YouTube cast that he does fairly regularly. He has a lot more under his belt than I do as far as these are concerned. He does mostly development, but I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, so I'm a software developer. I do primarily JavaScript development, full stack, and I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. And like Adrian said, I host my own podcast as well as doing some YouTube videos. So that's
What's your podcast called?
The Adam Morgan Show. Very
Oh.
creative.
Tell him about your privilege checker.
Oh yeah, so I made this website. You can check it out right now. Actually, go to oppressioncheck.com, and I made a mock like introduction video to it. That's like typical tech product releases. You know, kind of like the documentary style. I'm looking off to the side. There's a camera on me. But basically, what it is you know, I'm very against a lot of the diversity and inclusion initiatives in tech, and what it does is it allows you to compare two candidates. So you can compare their race, gender, sexual orientation, preferred gender pronouns, and gender. And based on the privilege scores between the two, it'll tell you which one to hire. So
Sweet. So I'm going to do me and Adrian.
All right. So we're both of the Caucasian persuasion. I am, however, 1% Jewish. I found out recently because of on my dad's side. Wait, actually, that makes me a 0.5% Jewish.
Yeah, but you're not a practicing Jew.
That's true.
yeah, it doesn't count.
I guess, other for me, because I'm agnostic,
Go Christian for me.
put Christian for you.
Look at the drop-down list for gender. Like, holy.
I
yeah,
saw that. That was my favorite.
All right. My sexual orientation is straight,
You're sure?
mostly.
All right.
How about you?
You don't know?
I have an idea, but I don't know if you want me to say.
Go ahead and pick it.
All right.
There you go.
Preferred pronouns. Me, it's him, her.
It. Do it. No, don't
You're
do
it?
it. Do she?
You definitely get it if it was it. So cis male and cis female.
Is that what I am?
As far as I know.
Okay. I don't know.
You know what cis means, right?
I did at one point. Now it just.
I believe, if you call it, it's Latin, I believe, for this side of. Or is it Greek? I think it's Latin.
Okay. I thought it stood for something.
No, it's not an acronym. This trans means other side of. Cis means this side of.
Okay, sure.
So you should choose the second applicant
Yes.
because she's bisexual.
You're a
Of
center,
course.
center for internet security female.
Yeah, that's I like that one
We're
better.
both straight. You get it because you're a woman.
Yes.
Let's set you back.
Now,
To
why don't real jobs work like this?
you won't notice they weren't because then every guy like me would be well, the term I think
Unemployed.
for it would be a transgender, someone who just appropriates that.
I can see you in a dress.
You know, my mom has pictures, but yeah, let's not go into that. Let's set you to straight. Set me to
Go to questioning.
Is that all I needed? Cool, I just
Yeah.
questioning. I
See?
went out.
No, you're just not sure.
Yeah,
If
it's
they're
very
me versus Amanda and something, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, it's very skewed to anything that isn't straight or gay, and you're not actually gay, like Peter Thiel. And then any non-male, female gender.
That's what people will say. He's not. Oh, let me
Oh,
get the screen sharing off.
yeah, that's
no,
pretty
people
great.
say Peter Thiel's not actually gay because he has gay sex with other men. His politics are not what we like.
Milo Yiannopoulos now too.
Yeah, him also. As they would say. I remember the Southern Part of Law Center had an article about him, and I was like, oh, this is such shit. I can understand you don't like the guy, but a lot of this is crap. I'm still trying to figure out, the guy who got shot at last Friday, It's apparently in the InfoSec community.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't remember the gentleman's name as of right now, but I can probably go find it.
Got shot where?
Oh, at the Milo had a talk at what was it? Washington State University, was it?
I believe so.
And there was an altercation outside with protesters, and someone got shot.
Over,
they didn't
over
die, though.
what? Over what? Security though? No.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently, the guy that got shot was
Red Hat's better.
Purple team.
I use them.
Some guy who apparently has affiliations with some kind of workers' communist group. I don't know if he was actually Antifa or not, but some workers' communist group. He was there, and an Asian guy who I've heard multiple reports on. I heard people say he was a Trump supporter because he was asking Milo for like a manga hat. I've also heard that he was Antifa himself from other people. I'm still not sure on that. If he was a Milo or a Trump supporter, it would be kind of strange because supposedly he said the guy he shot he thought was a white supremacist, and usually Milo fans don't start calling people white supremacists. So that's kind of still up in the air. But regardless, the police let him go because he claimed it was self-defense. And I don't think we'll ever actually know what exactly happened. I know there was like people getting shot with what was it, paintballs, and there was various smaller physical altercations, I believe, going on. But apparently the guy who got shot is named Josh Dukes.
Okay.
That's what I know on that particular issue.
Crazy. It sounds like it's a little bit related to Trump and all that. I wasn't expecting that. It's kind of, I'm sick of all these fucking, why are you throwing a garbage can through a window? Like all this Trump bullshit that's going on right now.
That's the
because
Antifa.
Most people are morons.
Give me a fucking break.
That's the Antifa and the Black Flag people who anybody to the right of Lenin is a fascist to them. My fear of those people, though, is you're going to actually have that will embolden actual legit fascists against them.
All right, let's get back to InfoSec. I really don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah, come on. Sorry, I think I ignited the fire a little bit there.
It's all your fault.
Okay, so Adam, since I have you on, and now this is mostly InfoSec people on, but you're a developer. I'm just curious, I'm assuming, are you in school or you graduate already?
I graduated 2012.
Comp sci degree?
No. MIS, the bullshit.
Okay. So you had to take a lot of little business classes too, I take it.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, how much security did they actually put in a general MIS degree at this point? My computer science degree is like 17 years ago, so I'm a little ignorant on what they're doing now.
Honestly, not much. But I barely took any programming too. I didn't really start programming until after my first job out of college because I didn't go straight into programming. But even the CS, I don't know how much they did there, to be honest. Not much at all, I don't think.
So what do they teach you mostly in MIS, like networking, server administration?
I mean, where I went to school, I'll be perfectly honest, it was a bullshit degree. It was a bullshit program.
Mine too.
It's
Mine
like
too.
Surface level of everything. So they said they wanted you to be well-rounded, but it was like you took basic programming, basic networking, basic everything. So you dabbled in everything, but you didn't have any depth in anything. So.
But you was basically well-rounded.
Yeah, it was a complete waste of time and money.
Yeah, when you hear a lecturer say, "Okay, guys, you're going to need to learn C++ in 2 weeks," and you just think, "Oh my God, has he been
And then
serious?"
never use it again.
Yeah, well, no, there are some people that specialize in those areas, but I suppose you just need to learn everything. If you've got, I'm self-taught when it comes to computers, but I did go to university to start to study them, and I ended up changing my degree to something else because I thought that the course was, as you guys have just said, a little patronizing. Like, this is the mouse, this is the left button, we need to go to the file menu. And I'm thinking, this is a course for people that should be into computers already. They should be like hitting the ground running. I studied computer game design when I was at university. And the people there just did not have a clue. And it was just so difficult. I mean, I could see the frustration for the lecturers because they obviously wanted people to hit the ground running. And after the first year, I was that bored with the course and how slow things were progressing. I went and I asked whether I could change to a different one, and I did a degree in design instead. So yeah, I feel your guys' frustration as well. But you've got the degree, you've got the letters after your name now, right? I'm an artist, you're computer scientists. That's the problem. When you go to apply for a job, people don't take into account your passion. They want to see the letters after your name. So it's very important that you choose correctly.
Well, in InfoSec, I think it's generally all over the place. I mean, I don't think the degree is as important in that. But there's a lot of people comp sci. There's also a lot of people who are getting into teaching security programs. Like, for instance, I have a master's in security informatics, and I felt like I knew more than my teachers on a lot of things. And at the time, I was just a hobbyist. I'd explain what pen test was to two of them. I'd explain what a USB hub was to one of them. One of them, she missed more classes than any of the students. I was a straight A student, all this stuff, until I got to machine learning. Machine learning, I actually picked up some cool stuff in, and it was the worst grade I made up there. But it was actually a decent class, and it wasn't computer security related directly. They let me take that instead of encryption. But I mean, I had a teacher who would assign work that she'd never read herself, it seems, because she didn't have a copy of it. And she'd assigned something on securities, which was like investments, instead of security, because I think she just saw the title and said, "Oh, this thing's like a good thing to put in there." She was a moron. I don't see how.
I had a Microsoft Server teacher that had just taken the MCSE boot camp 2 weeks before he taught the class. It was horrible.
Yeah. Well, see, this woman also whine about privilege some. And wait, you like making 120 as a professor at a university where you can be a lazy fuck other than having to write papers. Now, the publish or perish thing sounds like a pain in the ass, but university professors, they don't have it that bad.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I'd love to go and work at a university, but not as a lecturer. Maybe just, a technician that worked in one of the rooms somewhere.
I did that. It doesn't pay nearly as well. When I first left to go to a Fortune 1000 company, I basically I didn't quite triple my pay, but it went up way. So unless you actually can get on the whole gravy train of being tenured faculty, and I know Bill's gonna give me shit later on. Unless you get
I'm gonna tell him to watch it right now.
Yeah. Unless you get on the gravy train of tenured faculty, there's really not a whole lot of money in universities, other than with that and also administration, which is also my understanding. Where a lot of the you see these graphs of how inflation has worked versus various things, like inflation versus the cost of a TV. The TV cost has gone drastically down, but I mean, education has outpaced inflation, and a large portion of that, my understanding, is administration costs, because the administrations have gotten blown up very large.
Yeah, I think that, and then just the level of intervention that the federal government has in the education system in general with student loans, that definitely has an effect as well. But yeah, there's a ton of bloat in university for sure.
Yeah, I get the idea of getting a lot of student loans if you have a degree that you can make money with on the outside. But these people who are getting various liberal arts degrees, I don't understand why they're taking out so much money for something that they're never going to get anything out of. Or at least for as job-wise, to be able to pay off their debt.
That's their problem.
Or maybe it's just to do something to, make their parents happy.
They could be passionate about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to follow your passions, right?
Yeah, but I can follow my passions without spending a lot of money on a degree.
It doesn't mean they're smart.
I mean,
and making sound financial decisions for their future, but they are following their passion.
I think that's the most important thing, though. Really, like you need to do something that you really enjoy doing. Otherwise, you're just going to go to work every day and just I mean, at the moment, I'm working towards opening a hackerspace. That's what I eventually want to do. But it's a bit of a paradigm, because to open a hackerspace, you need the hackers. And to get the hackers, you need somewhere for them to come. So, like, it's, yeah. I've got the tools. I just need the space.
Where are you based out of?
I'm in England, right in the middle of England.
Okay.
In a little town called Wolverhampton. It's not the best place, but you know, it's home. I like it.
Well, so that don't come as a complete hypocrite. I will admit that when I chose my major, I chose it mostly because of passion and I enjoyed it. But my passion just happened to be in a subject field that was eventually going to be financially lucrative.
Yeah,
I picked mine because I had to pick something because I couldn't go in the Marines anymore.
I did electrical engineering because I'm a big nerd and I love electronics and shit. But at the same time, you go to work and you fucking work on this shit all the time, and you come home and it's like your hobby has been degraded, man.
Yeah.
I can empathize with that.
Yeah.
You can't spell geek without double E. I always like that.
That's right. I'm gonna keep that.
I was an associate. I got an associate in electronics. My first degree. Well, actually, I think I maybe came back and finished it after. But I went in for an associate's in electronics. Only after I did that, I wanted to go to Hollywood and do special makeup effects, do animatronic monsters and all that. Well, CGI replaced all that in the meantime. But I was learning electronics. While I was in electronics, I liked programming, so I decided to go comp sci. So I finished my comp sci degree first, I think, and then I got my associates. Then I was hanging out at the university for a while, and eventually I got flushed out of the MBA program, essentially because I said bad things about Nazis. That's a long story. I did security informatics and learned that there's a lot of people, I think, offering security degrees that basically just had comp sci backgrounds and said, hey, there's some interest in this security stuff. There's jobs out there. Maybe we should offer our own degree program.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, dude.
my problem is that you know, my classmates and everything, and every other student that's in electrical engineering, they don't have the same passion that I do about electronics and stuff. Maybe a select few of them do, but they're going to come out and they're going to know how to do calculus really well. They're going to know all about second order differential equations and all this other shit. But you ask them to solder, or you ask them to, you know, lay out a PCB or something like that, they can't fucking do it. So where are the practical programs in these for these degrees and shit like that? It's non-existent. It's just all math, and you know.
That's why I wouldn't go. That's why I didn't ever want to go back to college. I took a 2-year degree and learned the only helpful class I took was technical writing. Everything else sucked, and I did not learn a damn thing. But it got me my degree so I could get an actual job.
Yay!
Yay! And then I never looked back.
I got to learn most of the stuff I actually use on a day-to-day basis. I kind of picked up from just screwing around in the network. And I mean, I do some programming now, but most of my comp sci classes were programming focused. And it's not really something I have to do a lot of on a day-to-day basis now. I learned more probably studying for the various certifications I got in the late 90s, early 2000s than I did the classes. Strange enough, a lot of it, back then you had brain dumps and so forth to help you pass the test. So you wouldn't necessarily have a complete comprehensive grasp of everything, but you still picked up things just from knowing the right terminology that went together so you could Google it. Or at that time, I think Hotbot it.
Or Yahoo it.
Yahoo it, yeah.
Mama.com.
Ask Jeeves.
Alta Vista. Oh, God.
In web development, you know, the coding boot camps are becoming really popular. I mean, they're very popular now. Is there any sort of like equivalent for InfoSec in any way?
Sans classes, maybe?
Yeah, there are definitely boot camp style classes for like passing the CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker, which it seems to be a bit of a joke now, but and also the CISSP course or certification. I know there's boot camps for those. I haven't personally taken them, but I know they exist.
Yeah, I was just wondering like what the I guess, what the reputation of some of those in the industry are. Because I know, I mean, talking about college, people aren't learning anything. Now the boot camps are coming out to, okay, we're not going to teach you history and English and all this shit. We're just going to teach you programming. But so far, it doesn't seem to be working out so well, at least in web development.
So boot camps don't get you like a certification to get you a job?
I think you get like a certification that you went through their boot camp, but apparently the amount of people who are ready to hit the ground running after those in a job is pretty low.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I feel like those are to like weed out people too, and like find people that they can hire, maybe like businesses running those things. I see those a lot in Minneapolis by a couple of companies in software development.
I think the coolest thing about electronics and software is that you have something at the end of the day to show for it. So if you really work hard on something that you're passionate about, you'll have a product in which you can show an employer during an interview. So like as an electronics guy, I'll have a piece of hardware, I bring it to my interview. I show it to them, they can hold it in their hands, they can look at it. Software is a little bit harder, but even if you bring a laptop to an interview, if I was interviewing you, I'd frickin' look at your software, that's for sure. So I think there's value in having something that you can either hold in your hands, or you have an end product that can be viewed by a potential employer. And I think that's how you push through all of the other people that they're interviewing for. You have something that they don't. You have passion for it, that you've actually taken the time to actually fucking make something that somebody can see.
I feel like it would be tacky to bring my book to an interview. Do you not think so?
Depends what you're doing though. Like if you're doing security and it's like, holy fuck, this person's wrote the book on security. Like, oh, fuck, why wouldn't I hire her?
I'm gonna sign it. I'm gonna sign it for them and leave it.
Yeah, that's an idea.
It's your business card. It's your
guaranteed to never get hired there.
It's your fucking manifest, man.
Put it in a little Necromonicon book cover.
Right.
I was thinking about making a electronic business card, but like you said, it
they're so cool.
takes 2 E's to spell geek. So.
But they're expensive too, so you have to be careful who you hand them out to.
I think it would just be cool to have something that kind of updated or something over the air or something. You know what I mean?
There's a few people out there giving out those like lockpick business cards, but I cut myself on Kevin Mitnick's one when I was at the DEF CON this year.
Did you sue him?
No.
I was just going to say there are some business cards that designers sell as business cards. So like you can go to their shop and you can buy one of their business cards from the shop because they've done a cool fold out design, or, as with a circuit board or something, it might be a device like a HID or something that you might give out that's programmable.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if someone could plug my business card into their computer. and get my resume or something.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Hey, this is my business card. Could you please plug it in?
People don't trust you.
Be sure to enable
devices for me.
Well, they do those credit card USBs, don't they? They actually do a credit card that has a USB key in it that's like a snap out one.
Really?
And those ones that actually act as keyboards that will go ahead and bring up the company's website for you.
Yeah, that would be cool. Control and escape are... yeah.
Windows key R, man. Special GUI key.
Yeah, Windows key R is better, yeah. It's
so Adam, did they at least teach you in your classes about what a SQL injection is or cross-site scripting vulnerability?
Yeah, we discussed it, but at a very, very high level.
Okay, so they didn't actually have you sit down and like do it.
No.
Like this is what not to do.
No.
Little Jimmy drop tables.
Right.
Nope.
What's
Bad I'm
your-
not
If you
having
don't
any more
get that,
children.
that's like a comic. It's like a nerdy comic joke.
Exploits of a Mom, I think is the name of the particular strip on XKCD.
Are you sure your surname's comma reboot sorry, semicolon reboot semicolon?
Yes. I wonder, do you think, do they have restrictions on changing your name? Do they have to just be A through Z?
No special characters.
Is it? I wonder. Like, are you allowed to have special
Yeah.
characters if you change
I
your
never
name?
thought about that.
I mean,
that's good.
Prince did a thing, but I think he's special.
Can you use Unicode of any kind?
Oh, Adrian, I love that tip. That is like the most awesome tip. The alt characters in the password to avoid dictionary file brute forcing. Yeah, that was like, brilliant, mate. Love
So
that.
if you get on a different keyboard that you don't have access to those keys or you don't know how to get those symbols in there, that becomes a pain in the ass.
Have you tried that with a password manager at all?
I guess you can
I'm
copy and
curious.
paste it over.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
also thinking of making a. I've made one actually. It's based on the AT Tiny 85, but it's on a little proto board. But I changed the dip switch for whichever thing I'm trying to log into, and it spits out the password as if it's plugged in with a real keyboard. So I'm wondering if I can just send those characters regardless of what keyboard is plugged in. You know what I mean?
Probably. There's a way of typing them on any old keyboard. I mean, even Mac OS 10 has a certain key combination way of entering it. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, there's a difference though between, like, you've got ASCII and then you've got the key codes, which are unique to each local for each keyboard. So, for instance, if you're using a French keyboard, the key codes are slightly different because it's AZERTY as opposed to being QWERTY.
Right.
That's right. And it's based on the system, though, whatever the setting is on the system, right?
Can you detect that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can detect it. I know there's been like some Russians, I think it was Russian, malware out there that if it sees a Russian keyboard configured, it won't actually function because they don't want to be caught hacking stuff in a country where they actually are and could get in legal trouble. They'd rather hack some country where extradition is not likely.
I think that's the
Okay.
problem with these HID emulators and shit like that nowadays is that you kind of have to know the system that you're going after ahead of time, and you have to know the locale, you have to know everything else. So pretty sure pseudo hack is right on this one where you have to know the system settings. I don't think you can just like hook up a Russian keyboard and have it type Russian characters or something like that. It
And I'm on
depends on the system.
I'm on Debian and I can't do Alt and then go on my numpad. I can't do that. It doesn't enter any characters. I'd have to use a special on-screen keyboard too. That's another aspect.
Advanced, just mute yourself out if you can.
Okay, my bad. I saw a new product called the Malduino. He has his own YouTube channel. His name is Seytonic, so Satonic on YouTube. He's got the Malduino, which is kind of like a direct competitor for the Rubber Ducky, and he has an SD card and dip switches so that you can select between sketches and things like that. But I thought for the price, it's not worth it. It's about $30 for the elite version, I guess, and then $16 for the light version with no dip switches.
So basically, it's like a 10C that already has dip switches soldered onto it.
Basically, it's exactly like your project with the SD card and the 10C with no or with dip switches.
I need to get a passion for doing some kind of new research project because I don't have any new talks ideas for this year. And there's truly some people who are expecting me to speak, and I don't have anything particular. I kind of want to revisit Unicode again because I find Unicode and understanding how that stuff works fascinating. And also I can, celebrate my adopted son, which I'll try to bring up here in just a second.
Oh, fuck Unicode, sorry.
I adopted him last year. Isn't he cute?
Who?
What you see up on the screen? I'll speak for a while so it actually shows it up on my screen.
Yes,
so you can actually see what I have here.
Kind of. It's a little blurry.
Well, like a little over a year ago, Unicode had this whole charity drive to where you could sponsor a character and adopt it. And I adopted, of course, the middle finger. I know a guy, Weave, you can guess what symbol he wanted to adopt, but apparently that one was blacklisted. You couldn't actually do that.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, there's like a new standard out or something for adopting certain Unicode that have to do with emoticons, like to pass a certain certification, certain application developers, like people that make Messenger and stuff for Facebook and all that, have to support these characters, which are actually emoticons.
I was having absolute hell with Unicode programming those LED matrices. But in the end, it turned out that I was trying to use too much of the buffer and overflowing the buffer on the microcontroller.
Yeah, I've seen there's a term for it. What's the Japanese term for when emoji break, where basically it interprets Unicode in the wrong format. And there's different ways of formatting Unicode. I think UTF-8 is the most common that you'll encounter. Yeah. Where what will happen is you throw in Unicode, like a friend of mine is named Zoe. So she has the I think it's the O that has a little accent on it. And in ASCII, you'll throw into that, and some of these old electronic boards will go ahead and interpret that as IBM extended ASCII, and it would be some weird set of characters in it. Also, if you've got an email that has a J on the end of a sentence, just an uppercase J.
Yes, or I may have gotten text that way too.
Yeah, what happens is someone puts a smiley face, it interprets it as a particular wingding, doesn't put the Unicode character in, does the, I guess the ASCII equivalent in the font of wingdings, and the J happened to be a smiley face.
Yep.
That's interesting. I have a client who always ends her sentence, her email, with a J, and I thought she was kind of like saying, my name's short, Jason, call me Jay or something. Now I know why.
Not supposed to use emojis in business email. I do, but I'm just saying you're not supposed to. I do for the clients that I like.
Oh, there should be some kind of movement against that. Anybody that tries to ban emojis or emoticons should be like, I don't know, there should be some movement for them. Because I honestly couldn't type on the internet if I couldn't put a smiley face somewhere. I'm really sorry, guys.
Yeah, I agree. It helps you convey emotion. Otherwise, you can be taken wrong so many times.
I think it's a rapport building tool. So I'm very formal.
Emoji.
I'm formal when I first start in the company, but then it's like I build up some rapport, and it's like I'm gonna throw emoji. Yeah, drop the F-bombs, throw an emoji in.
What about animated GIFs?
Oh, no.
Internal to the organization, I do that all the time, but to customers, I do not. Although one I probably could. Like, yeah, it's probably one of my favorite customers. Saw him at DEF CON at like 3 in the morning, and both of us were drunk and eating pizza. So I think after that, we had a better relationship.
That's what I mean. You build rapport. You move on from like best regards to emojis to some Giphy, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of DEF CON, we have a lot of fun at our various conferences. Like DEF CON is essentially one big party, and then other smaller cons like ShmooCon and DerbyCon have a lot of party atmosphere, a lot of technical talks too. A lot of people there be semi-serious. I'm curious, what Adam, have you been to many developer conferences, and how did those things turn out? I only hear reports from them externally, and when I hear reports, it's always stuff like what happened at November or the whole Donglegate thing from what is it, PyCon? What's the feeling at developer cons like?
You know, I don't know because I haven't been to any yet. I don't know. Part of it is stupid bullshit like that, and then part of it is also I don't know how much I'm gonna get out of it for spending, you know, like $1,500 to fly out.
Is that how much they
somewhere.
are?
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, they get up there. So I don't know if my employer were to subsidize it, then I'd probably do it. But
Although here's a trick. So it depends on if you want a badge or not. But I went. Oh shit! This is I don't know shit. Code Mash is one that's like one of the bigger developer conferences, and it's like right down the street from me in Ohio. I went 3 years in a row without paying. I just kind of walked past. They're very lax about security as opposed to InfoSec cons.
Yeah, there's a lot of security conferences that aren't nearly that kind of expensive. I mean, there's like B-sides everywhere where usually the cost to get in, if anything, it's like
free.
Yeah, free or $15 or something like that. I encourage all these B-sides to at least charge, let's say $10, because otherwise you get people who sign up but don't show up.
Did you hear about the people that were wearing the volunteer tags? And they were sitting, I think it was DEF CON. They started waving people through, and they started checking people's badges and shit like that. They had a volunteer tag. They looked like they were supposed to be there, so they just get their big group of friends to come through that line.
That's awesome.
Through.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Again, most of the cons I go to for free because I do the video recordings for them.
I can only speak for the Microsoft ones. I've been to like 2 Microsoft ones, and yeah, I just won't even bother telling you guys about those.
They're more corporate though, aren't they?
Yeah, diagrams of databases, data flow diagrams, and all that.
Super fun.
Yeah. Here's another graph. Here's why you should be using a Microsoft product. Microsoft are amazing.
That's why they have their own conference.
It's like a Vizio advertisement or something.
What were we were using Visual Studio and Microsoft SQL Server back in the day. We were programming health and safety software, like multi-site health and safety software. And yeah, we used to get bundled off to Microsoft developer conferences to go and, like, you know, they'd be telling us about new features that Microsoft's SQL Server and their Visual Studio packages were capable of now. It was around the time .NET just came out, and we finished programming in VB6 and moved to Visual Basic .NET and C#.
Have you guys seen the new product from Adobe that analyzes somebody just speaking a bunch of sentences? Like I could record all of you right now and take your sound clips, feed it into this program, and then it would text to speech, but in your voice.
What?
I have heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. So I'm wondering what kind of doors that's going to open for social engineering.
Oh, prank calls galore! Sorry. I can't wait to do one and just record somebody, then call them back and troll them with their voice.
With their own voice.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, like, I'm the CEO. God damn it! Let me in, or give me this software. I need it right away.
Right.
I mean, how do you? What is the future of that? How do you verify who you're talking to?
You always call them back. Yeah. Hey, Frank, is that you? No, I'm playing golf at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, I do that with 1-800 numbers and shit all the time. Hi, it's your bank calling. It's like, oh yeah, this 1-800 number, right? I'll call you back. What's your name? What's your extension?
Man, the do not call thing used to work real well for me, but I'm getting calls constantly now from like some supposedly, well, I want to say one was a credit service that keeps calling me, and another one was something about a warranty on a car I don't sure I even have.
Yeah, I found that it kind of stopped working, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, maybe.
Along
Stupid
those
emergency.
lines, has anyone been getting calls where no one answers? It just
Yes,
hangs
I've been
up shortly
Yes.
after?
Mhm.
Is that like
Yes,
war
that's
dialing?
that's a
Yeah, they're basically a call system that will make 10 calls at once, and then when it detects that one person has answered the phone, it will then switch to that line and drop the other 9 lines, or transfer the other 9 lines onto somebody else.
Okay.
What was that?
or saves your number and then the recording calls you back later.
Interesting. I
I just
thought maybe
want to say
something
that wasn't me.
suspicious.
I think that was Amanda's mating call.
No, you'd know it. You'd know it if you heard it.
Well,
You're going to be down. You're going to be keynoting B-Sides Nashville, right, Amanda?
Mhm. Yep, my first keynote ever. Yay.
Nice, congratulations.
And what you going to be talking on?
I'm not telling. It's a surprise.
Oh, well, come on.
Nope.
Well, I'll find out about a week before everybody else will. So
you should
Yeah.
title your speech something completely unrelated and go around telling everybody
Yeah.
it's.
That's a great idea. It's going to be like, 12 words long and all just like super long random cyber words, and then I'll have just nothing to do with any of that. Just get more people to come.
You should definitely do that. That's cool.
Advanced Electronic Cyber Initiative. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I could probably come up with something. But I'm nervous. That's what I was doing research on prior to this call.
Apache, SQL, business database, Internet of Things, electronic design, whatever.
Synergy.
Synergy, yeah.
Cyber. Yeah, that was the money earner. It still is. I mean, they're still throwing it about now. I still see cyber used far too much.
Yeah.
Like, there was a headline. I'm not going to quote numbers and things, but it was certain government throwing X amount of money into cyber security. And I turned to somebody and I went, "What's cyber?" And they went, "I don't know." And I was like, "Exactly." And I cyber security. What are they spending that money on?
all right, somebody's echoing.
There we go.
All right, yeah, cybersecurity. That's like protecting your age, sex, and location, right?
Yes.
With cyber, when I was doing cyber, I still think of the late '90s term. We're basically talking dirty to each other on chat. I understand. Talking to some people who do work for.
Is that what we're doing now?
Hey,
Are we,
baby, how you
are we
doing?
cybering now? I feel like this is a little unfair.
There's a girl who, at one conference when I was running late to get there, she said, "I'm gonna keep sending you dick pics every 30 minutes until you get here." Who is that girl now? But I was thinking, I was actually told by someone who does work for the intelligence community that something along the lines of, someone had an InfoSec project and they labeled it InfoSec project, and they said, "Oh, we don't have money for InfoSec projects, but we have money for cyber."
All right. Whatever gets you the money. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know why cyber took off as the term, because InfoSec just seems like a far more descriptive term.
It does.
But apparently, cyber is the buzzword that various people in intelligence community, government sector, and so forth really like.
It's probably more broad too, so I can funnel it into many things.
Yeah.
Pretty vague.
I can see that.
Cyber to me is like on on CSI Cyber where they go into that back room and everything's projected in like 3D holograms and they
You
can
get to
move
like
shit
swipe.
around. Yeah, like
swipe
Minority
shit
Report
around.
style. Yeah.
Right. I
Fuck,
can't
so
wait.
advanced.
Man, I can't wait for that that technology.
I expect Tom Cruise to bust through the wall going, "Oh yeah," like a Kool-Aid man.
Oh my gosh.
That would be something like, oh yeah, Minority Report. The interfaces kind of look cool, but yeah, CSI Cyber. I think that did get canceled, right?
I never watched it, so I don't know.
Did
I
it?
watched the first 2 episodes. I thought it got canceled.
Yeah, it
Well,
got canceled.
Whilst
Did it
we're on
really?
this, I was just going to say, whilst we're on the subject of TV programs, have you guys watched Pure Ownage?
No.
Anyone? No? Nobody's watched Pure Ownage?
Is it a series or a documentary or something?
It's a comedy series directed by Catherine Tate, I think, and it features some people that were doing a YouTube show about gaming a long time ago, and they took the YouTube show and they made it into like a TV series. I think I don't know how many series they did, but it's absolutely hilarious. There's like a Guitar Heroes episode, there's a Counter-Strike episode, there's a World of Warcraft episode, there's and it's the life of a pro gamer, and it's pretty entertaining anyway. In the one scene talking about cyber and the control centers and the big red button, there's Doug sitting there and he's been banned from gaming, and basically he's been told he can't touch a computer and thinks that there's actually people watching him, watching out for him actually gaming, and somebody's got a big red button that they press and deploy like a SWAT team to his house to go and raid him, and I'm just good. Yeah, it's a really cool series. I mean, if you like computers and you're slightly geeky, you will love Pure Ownage. It's brilliant.
Huh.
It's a Canadian web series.
Indeed, yep.
Man, I don't know why you're laughing, Amanda. I'm Canadian, god damn it.
Or as I call you, ice packs.
Yeah, man. You know how dangerous it is to have electricity in your igloo that's like melting due to global warming?
That would probably be a bad scene, yeah, I imagine.
Fuck.
I've only ever been to Winnipeg. Winnipeg seemed like a kind of, cool town, literally. Luckily, they were having a heat wave in November. Otherwise, I would be freezing my ass off. But instead, it was just at freezing.
I was actually going to drive to Toronto tonight, and then I did not because it's a long drive. My co-author is running like a security meetup up there, and I was bored and didn't have anything to do. So I was going to drive up Toronto and then drive back. It's like a 5-hour drive.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah. And I've never been to Canada. I've never been to Canada. I've never been to Canada before, and I'm like an hour and a half south of Detroit. So I mean, it's super close.
Yeah, I like Detroit. Someone was like, I think Wolf was pulling out a piece of trivia, like what city is due south of Detroit, and it's in Canada because of how everything is curved.
Oh,
I
right.
can't remember what it was called now.
Windsor?
Yeah,
Windsor, that sounds correct.
that's where the casino is, right across the Detroit River.
Oh, I'm holding up the bears in response to Adam Morgan's image message in the chat.
I like it.
I think I recognize that bear. Is that it's like a comic strip bear or something?
Oh, something.
Don't come.
Unfortunately, it's known as a pedal
Brian,
bear.
Brian, we didn't see comments on the YouTube chat or YouTube channel.
Apparently, it was originally Safety Bear in Japan, and then someone
I'll
took
go look at it.
and it got popular on image boards like 4chan, and became known as Pedo Bear.
Advanced, were you in that hangout when that guy from DEF CON joined and he was wearing the pedo bear outfit?
Yes, he was on my team.
What?
Oh man, he was hilarious. Oh, I've never laughed so much.
Was
That
that
was
Aaron?
last year, right? The knockoff pedal bear
Yeah,
costume.
yeah.
All right, I was the one in the Java Hut suit.
Oh right, okay.
Oh, it's a separate hangouts.
Yeah.
I was like, I watched all the Irongeek casts.
No, but do you not remember the guy that joined and put a gun to his head and then left?
What?
Yeah,
No?
that was yo, yeah.
No.
We used to have these regular hangouts, and it was just a bunch of people that were on a certain IRC server, and we'd always hang around together. So what we do is we have a hangout, and Google Talks integrated with the hangout, so you could call somebody in from a landline and then talk to them inside a hangout. So we were doing this kind of thing, and we got the hangouts on public, and the most random people used to join. And anyway, your friend wearing the pedo bear outfit was on for a whole evening with us. It was absolutely hilarious.
That's amazing.
And we there was another evening when do you know the video Balls of Steel?
Uh-huh.
There's a voice artist that used to hang out on Ventrilo servers. I'm sure, yeah, Ventrilo, definitely Ventrilo. And the one night we all logged on to Ventrilo, and he came on and he tried to troll us. So like he was doing all the usual shit that he's got in the trolling the the videos on YouTube, like Balls of Steel and stuff like that. And we weren't biting to it because we were like, dude, we know who you are. Just stop it. Stop trolling. And just, in the end, he gave up. And we were on for about 3 or 4 hours with him. And he was just doing all these voices. And, it was absolutely hilarious. It's a really good evening.
Oh, that's great.
But, yeah, it's quite random, the people that you meet doing hangouts. And it's just made the world such a small place.
Like
yeah, man, I miss those IRC hangouts. There's a few I wasn't on.
Yeah, I am trying to get a few people that used to do the hangouts to come and join here, but I don't know. They're all in different time zones, so it was all a bit random.
My current plan is to do this every Wednesday at about 7 o'clock. I'll probably start the stream up as far as people joining the hangout. I mean, at about
yes.
I don't know.
So there's a separate live chat going next to the YouTube video, and people are asking us questions.
All right, good. All right.
So do you want me to go through them?
Yes, go ahead and ask. You're going to do that as I go get myself a drink of non-alcoholic beverage.
Okay. Let's see here. Louis Rivera asked if that was Martin Shkreli. I assume he's talking about you, Adam. Or maybe not.
I say, why would I be Martin Shkreli?
I don't know. You're the only one with a camera on.
Of all the pictures that are up there, I think his looks the most like Martin Shkreli.
No, I would say Jason's looks the most
Oh,
like
yeah,
Martin Shkreli.
true.
He kind of
It
looks
could be.
like him.
You never know. I mean, it could be him. All right. Who else?
Oh, I get names confused. Sorry.
Let's see here. Please elaborate on what is a good means of learning InfoSec classes or otherwise.
See, I get these large general questions in my email sometimes, and I'm like, I can't really respond because it's just a general question. Only thing I can say is read and play with tech a lot. Dig through people's garbage bins for old computers, hook things up, play around, install different operating systems. But I don't know if there's a single thing I can point to.
No, I say there's a bunch of stuff. So volunteering at conferences has always been a really good way to meet new people and find out what they're interested in, kind of get yourselves into projects, that kind of stuff. Maybe like a mentoring program, right? So there's not a lot of programs out there, but if you can find somebody that's in the space that has something that you're also interested in, you could reach out to them and see if they want to mentor you. What else? Podcasts. There's a bunch of podcasts out there, and blogs and a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's see here, some off the top of my head. Trusted Sec has one, who Adrian works for. I work for Hurricane Labs. They have one. I also do Breaking Down Security, and then there's Risky Business, Security Weekly, Southern Fried Security. What else, guys?
If it's electronics, then you should check out EEV Blog or the Amp Hour.
All right, those are good ones.
Embed FM is good.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of stuff out there, not necessarily class-wise, but if you have passion and drive, I think you can get really far.
I think it's kind of learning the nature of people that are actually interested in it. And like, what are those people that are interested in whatever you're interested in? What are they interested in themselves? And then kind of dig into that. And why would those people be interested in it? Well, maybe it's something worth learning about if you're interested in it.
Just never give up as well. If at first you don't succeed, try harder.
Exactly.
Like I said, like if you can go do an electrical engineering degree, but you're just going to be really good at math. The people that fucking succeed, in my opinion, are the ones that are interested in it genuinely. So fucking start up a project. Whatever you don't know how to do, well, keep trying. It's kind of like guitar. You should try and learn the next song that's a bit harder than what you already know how to play. That's the only way you're going to get better.
Oh, and Lewis said also the social engineering podcast, which that's another good one. I just posted something on Facebook because so I was talking to a couple of my friends about like calling Facebook people. So I went through and I was looking and I realized I have mostly InfoSec people as friends. It's an insane amount. Like out of 500, there's 400 of them that are related to InfoSec somehow. So I asked what some good podcasts are. You guys can talk about something else while I try and find it.
I think that was the only questions we had, right?
Socialengineer.org, social-engineer.org has a really good podcast that's quite regular.
Let's see here.
I remember this episode that was really good where they had the guy on who, you remember the TV show Lie to Me that was on for like 2 seasons?
Yeah.
They had the guy who that guy was based on the social engineering podcast. That was enjoyable.
Oh, defensive security. I can't forget them. They'll get mad if they... the defensive security podcast. That's a really good one. Yeah.
Of course, TrustedSec has a podcast, which you alluded to, but I'll go ahead and put the name out there.
Again.
TrustedSec podcast.
There's Down the Rabbit Hole if you're interested in more like management security stuff. Hack 5 has stuff.
You guys ever watch Tech TV with the screensavers way back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had it for a brief time before they switched it to G4, and then they started showing nothing but like game footage, which I don't get the point of why people watch game footage. But apparently I'm wrong on this because what is it? The biggest YouTube channel out there is a guy named PewDiePie who does like playthroughs and crap.
Yeah,
I don't understand the appeal.
That's basically what Tech TV became after. But what I was trying to get at was there's a guy on the screensavers named Kevin Rose, and he used to have a show called The Broken, which was fucking hilarious. It kind of made fun of all the hacker podcasts or shows and stuff that were out at the time, and it was hilarious, man. Guys got to check out The Broken.
Yeah, I remember that came out, and I think shortly after that, around that time, Hack 5 came out, and then my buddies in Bloomington, the Packet Sniffers, were doing theirs for a short time, but most of those kind of faded away and just disappeared.
Let's see here, Dallas wants to know, is there any industry for physical pen testing, automation networks, Modbus, etc.?
Surely, yes. I notice people who do mostly like physical penetration tests as the main day-to-day gig. I know like Deviant Olive does a lot of that, and Chris Nicholson does a lot of that. I do some of that, but it's pretty irregular. We have a different guy we send in for a lot of places.
Isn't it usually just like an add-on to regular pen testing?
Yeah, a lot of times they sell it as a red team. So the scope is much wider open. You have physical attacks to actually get into a building. You have phishing attacks possibly. You have your general external and internal pen test possibly. Well, actually, no, if it's red team, it would be basically external to try to get to internal, or internal from a standpoint after you've already gotten in through the physical perimeter. Hacktress09 or Valerie Thomas does some of that too.
Yep.
Hey guys, I got to get going. Thanks for letting me join.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you next time. Have a good day.
Later, man.
Peace, dude.
I thought for devs, man, Adam, for devs, I don't mean like podcasts for devs, or is it kind of a different?
There's some. I don't listen to too many though, because a lot of the ones that I've found is just, I don't know, they're too boring for me. It's just like, let's talk about the new features in JavaScript. Let's talk about the new features in Angular, and I can only listen to so much of that. But yeah, I don't really listen to too many, to be honest. I wish there were more.
Even though the podcast name is Embedded, those guys are kind of software guys, and it's worth to listen to. It is more like firmware kind of stuff, like hardware-y kind of stuff. But at the same time, like Embedded and the Amp Hour have had a few podcasts that overlap where they would all talk to each other and they would split it up. Like this is the Amp Hour episode 114, but it's also Embedded episode 81 at the same time. So they had the overlap, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Embedded FM, I think. I'm trying to find it right now.
I really should listen to more podcasts. Now that I work from home, I have kind of slacked off.
I add all my podcasts to Thunderbird, so they all come in.
Unfortunately, I have to admit, there's a bunch of stuff I need to watch. Like, I go around to all these conferences and record videos. I rarely go back and watch them. And as far as podcasts are concerned, I listen to more YouTube stuff that's on social commentary and so forth than I do technical content, which I really need to stop doing that and start getting back to technical content.
We have a YouTube channel, Grabbing Script. I'm not 100% sure if it still works advanced. Do you remember that one?
I remember that one, yeah. It would automatically download, like whatever channel ID that you put in, it would automatically download if there was a new video. And you'd have a local copy of it that was HD, and you just check your folder every now and then.
And the thing is, some people will upload videos, make them public, and they'll then realize that they've left something in that they shouldn't, or that there was a mistake, and then they'll pull the video very quickly and re-upload one with the same name. So
I had that happen, actually. I have somebody's personal number that I shouldn't, just because of that script.
Oh, wow.
I think I know the video you're talking about as well.
Yeah, it was up for like 4 hours maybe, till he started getting a shitload of phone calls.
That's great.
Yeah, I had something like that happen to me once.
Do you want me to tweet your phone number?
Yeah. Oh, did you say you tweet my phone? No, I meant someone showed it on
I
the
said,
screen.
do you want me to tweet your phone number? You said yes. It's already done.
No.
Oh shit, we gotta rip this one down now.
Too late.
Somebody a long time ago sent me a phone list, and I saw the names on the phone list, and I was like, oh my God. And I just deleted the phone list. I was like,
What?
I'm not having that on my computer. Thank you very much. It's very cool. That's very cool, but like, no, thank you. Yeah.
You don't delete that shit. You just
No, advanced, man. It's just that you don't want that stuff on your computer.
you put it on a USB key and you put it beside your
You
computer.
bury it.
No.
What's on the list that you didn't want?
It was just like a lot of people's names and telephone numbers that they weren't the kind of people that you'd really want to phone up. You'd probably be on a list if you entered any single one of those phone numbers into a telephone kind of thing. They were like very
Putin's personal cell phone number.
very pertinent people, but passed from a quite reliable source. And I was like, dude, because this guy used to send me instruction manuals and used to send me kind of manuals and things that you wouldn't get that aren't the public kind of viewing material for instruction manuals. And then the one day he sent me this list, and I was just like, dude, I don't know where you got it from, just don't go there again.
Wow.
Yeah. So but I haven't talked to him for a very, very, very long time. So
No, is
Since
that
then.
good?
Since then.
he's probably still about. But I'm not gonna. We won't go into any detail at all. So yeah.
Is there a good place online to go if you want to look for like secretive, squirrely information? For instance, I used to.
It's the deep web, Adrian.
Well, I used to do a lot of research on Tor and I2P, but to be truthful with you, most of the websites were just sites of networking/encryption enthusiasts. I didn't find a whole lot of really.
I think you've got to be very careful now. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of propaganda out there. If you're looking for special things, people don't often upload them to the internet. And there's so many crazy freak show people out there making stupid videos. There's a lot of disinformation around the kind of cool shit that you probably would want to find out about. So yeah, trying to pick your way through the bullshit, I wouldn't even waste your time. If something goes public, you're probably going to hear about it. There's a few subreddits on. I mean, there's a few decent subreddits that are, always have interesting documents on there and stuff like that. But there's no. Oh, maybe there is one website, but yeah, it's still full of conspiracy theories, so it's not even worth mentioning.
Alex Jones of InfoSec.
No, I think it's been around for a very long time. Is it the Black Vault or the? Let me just.
Maybe the Cryptome.
Repeat that again.
Cryptome.
Cryptome. Is that an Onion site?
It's on the open web.
Okay. Any good Onion sites that you recommend going to that have any kind of how do I put it this way? They won't instantly put contraband on my machine, but have interesting ideas or concepts.
Well, if you have an interesting idea, keep it in your head. That's pretty much the rule. Why would anyone put something other than leaking information just for influence?
I imagine to get attention, get popularity, get a little fame.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that suddenly write books after these things.
There are a few Telegram channels, but they're in Russian.
Well, time to learn Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta learn Russian because the next election's coming up in 4 years.
No, you have to learn Russian for this election.
I was thinking words Arabic now.
Have they ever come up and showed any actual evidence that it was a Russian hacker, not as a lot of sources?
We probably shouldn't have brought this up again.
Well, have they shown any sources?
Nah, it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit. I'm in Canada,
Attribution
man,
is hard,
so I
bro.
can't even talk.
Yeah, it was all bullshit.
It's all fucking bullshit.
Okay, that website, it is theblackvault.com.
Vault.com. Thank you.
So, what do you guys say about the story of Kaspersky Lab executive getting
what? Sorry?
You made them refamiliarize us with it.
Well, there is a head of research of Kaspersky Lab who got arrested just. Well, it's known right now, but he was arrested months ago and has been in prison ever since. This is the deeds he is arrested for are. I'm sorry, I'm having the flu, so I'm sorry about talking slow. I'm high. The things that he apparently preclude his employment at Kaspersky Labs. So Kaspersky Labs just released a statement saying this has nothing to do with us.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I'm afraid I know nothing.
I saw it briefly.
probably for the next time I do one of these, I should probably tweet out a little bit before. Does anybody have any stories of interest that we should be discussing on the chat? We're usually pretty good at coming up with topics as we go along, but it might be interesting to bring up because I didn't know much about what you were just referring to, or anything about it really.
I don't know. It might be a bit cliche. There's always Stuxnet, isn't there? The nuclear worm.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting that Stuxnet was said to be introduced into the system via a USB flash drive, so it must have been internal. But at the same time, it was so sophisticated as to target PLCs and things that are actually controlling big machines, the computers behind the big machines, basically. And I just thought that it was so targeted, and somebody brought it in on a USB flash drive. So I'm just amazed that they couldn't, check the backgrounds of guest logs. And when I say guest logs, I mean physical guest logs, like people that showed up to the facilities and shit like that. I thought it was pretty nuts.
So I found the Kaspersky thing that he was talking about. It says Kaspersky Lab statement on the arrest in Russia of the head of its computer incidents investigation team. It says the case against this employee does not involve Kaspersky Lab. The employee, who is head of the computer incidents investigation team, is under investigation for a period predating his employment at Kaspersky.
So what kind of extracurricular activities was he up to?
Right? It's a Russian spy.
The funny part is that he's being charged with.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Well, it's like a general accusation to be slapped at anyone who divulged information to a foreign party or helped a foreign party in a way.
Right.
So this.
I just like it says they don't have the details of the investigation, but they said it was about something that happened before you worked there.
Well, they're hiring pretty aggressively in all fields of InfoSec in Russia.
Kaspersky is?
No, everyone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember watching some documentaries about cyber armies and the way that people are operating on the internet these days, like paid posts and things like that. It's a bit depressing, really.
Cyber army is not necessarily in just attacking people, but as in like influencing opinion by having a bunch of people do sock puppet accounts on Reddit and such.
Yeah. I could take you down the rabbit hole with that. I'll talk to you sometime about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess you could always farm it out to like India and so forth. Have any of you ever gotten one of those Microsoft calls from India or Pakistan?
Yeah, I always have fun on those calls.
I don't know if I said this before in a previous podcast or cast, but yeah, I usually try to have phone sex with those people. Doesn't matter what gender picks up or what's calling me. I start going to age, sex, location. I once got a guy to hand me off to his female manager, and she eventually told me, "Fuck you, motherfucker," or something like that.
The best thing to do is bill them for your time.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Basically, whenever I get a sales call, I always say, I do cost £500 a minute to talk to, so please provide me with your name and address so I can bill you. And by the time I get to that line, they've
they've already hung up
the call. Well, usually they just say, "I'm sorry, I can't do that, sir," and I'm like, "Okay, goodbye."
But generally, they try to do is walk into bringing up the event manager to try to convince you have malware in your system because there's a certain common error that they can easily find. And I try to explain to them I'm on OS2 Warp or Linux, and they would still keep going through the script. I remember one time I got fed up with a guy, and I was a little drunk, and I was I said,
Surprise.
"You Indian scammers just keep calling and calling," and he said, "I am not Indian. I am Pakistani." I was like, "Well, you can't tell the difference between a Frenchman and an Englishman." So they didn't like that because apparently the Pakistanis and the Indians don't get along real well. So I understand.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They don't at all. Yeah. Not getting too political, but I think Pakistan was segregated from India after a war a long time ago. And that's all I'll say because I don't know anymore.
Us Americans are really, really bad with geography.
I'd love to go. I mean, it does look like a beautiful country, and to India maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think that depends on when I do one of the cities. Some of the cities, my understanding, are not so nice.
I quite like rock climbing and trail walking and stuff like that, and some of the mountains over there look beautiful.
I don't go on many vacations. When I go on vacation, it's essentially I go to a con to record it. That's how most of my vacation time is spent.
You should go to besides Iraq or whatever they had over there.
They had Iraq.
They had something, I thought.
Fuck that. Fuck that. I've been there and done that. I do not want to ever go back to that hellhole.
I mean, Everest and the mountains along the Tibetan border in India and Pakistan are the place to go, aren't they? They're like the Mecca for climbers.
And I hope you don't die on the mountain.
Oh, it looks like an absolutely terrifying place. But I suppose that's the reason people do it. Calculated risk. It's quite an adrenaline buzz, you know, and it's a bit of a change from a mouse and keyboard, really.
Brian has a question in the chat. Anyone notice that the legal disclaimers from large companies, shareholder meetings, internal all hands meetings, etc., are continually getting larger, constantly? I can't say I really noticed that, but then again, my company doesn't send out a whole lot of that kind of stuff to the people. I personally have not seen that.
I would say I just don't pay attention enough to legal disclaimers anyways. Like, I could be signing off my fucking firstborn child, but I wouldn't fucking know it.
Yeah, I remember the days when you could actually trust installers. You'd download a piece of software, it'd be the piece of software that you wanted to download and install, and you could just go next, 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 next. And now, if you dare do that with the wrong piece of software, you're installing 7 different browser plugins, 3 different pieces of software that have come from, and you know, oh God, these days.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Like, if I want to download Adobe Reader or something like that, I don't want fucking McAfee installed with it. So fuck up.
Or Adobe Flash, yeah.
Right. Yahoo keeps wanting to make Yahoo be my default search engine.
Yeah.
So
would you like to change your homepage?
Paul brought this up in chat. That Dropbox, we were talking about like those files, you know, being uploaded and then taken back again. So Dropbox was actually deleted files were being just mysteriously reappearing that you had deleted. They're like, oh yeah, we didn't actually delete your files. They were kept in the cloud. So they weren't actually permanently removing them like they said they were.
No, well, you can undo shit. Like if if you're the admin of a Dropbox and a bunch of users delete a bunch of shit, and you're like, why the fuck did you delete that? Then you can go back into the logs and undo the deletes and stuff. So that doesn't really.
It said within 60 days. So typically we permanently remove files and folders from our servers within 60 days of a user deleting them. However, the deleted files and folders impacted by this bug had metadata inconsistencies.
Okay.
All right. Like they were reappearing from 2009.
Okay. It must be some sort of metadata to do with file creation date or something like that.
Right. That would be interesting. I wonder what I deleted in 2009.
I don't remember how long I've had Dropbox for.
Oh, I've had it forever.
I think I got it when I got my first my first iOS device, and because getting files to and from it, I didn't want to mess around with iTunes, and someone just suggested I use Dropbox. That was the most convenient thing to do.
I was using Box.net for a while. That was like 10 years ago, probably. But then Dropbox made everything way easier.
I had to clear up some stuff recently. There's a certain person I record at various conferences. She always wants me to record her talks, process them, but she won't let me post them. But she wants a copy of them. So I had to put them out there on that feed. And I have a pretty good collection now of various talks which were recorded but can't be posted.
I should do that just to be a pain in your ass.
Don't be a pain in my ass. Please. What I don't like is when people leave some shit on the desktop from work that has their client information in it, and then they're like, well, can you delete this part to this part? And or they'll say some stuff they want deleted, like there was one guy, Charles, who said something in one talk about where he worked. He didn't mean to, so I had to go and cut that out. And then the next talk I recorded, he said something about while we were recording, like, well, we should not to mention X company. Like, fucker.
Have any of you guys ever had to recover files for people?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Any interesting stories around that, or is it, you know?
Oh, recovering files? No, all
run-of-the-mill
mine are boring.
stuff?
Yes. This person deleted a very crucial file. I recovered it, and then they started screaming and yelling that the Chinese broke into their system, deleted the file originally, and then put it back with a virus on it.
Sorry, it kicked me out for some reason.
What was their reasoning for the virus?
It wasn't a virus. I recovered it.
That's pretty hilarious. No, I've had some pretty heartbreaking stories of people losing kind of really sentimental photos, and yeah, I've had to.
That's all mine were.
Well, yeah, I've had to recover them from a half, overwritten hard disk with Windows reinstalled on it. Like, they took it to the local computer shop to get their computer fixed, and basically the guy just overwrote it with a new install of Windows, and it got photos on there that they couldn't, they couldn't recover any other way. It was just a single copy on that hard disk. So the law of three was not being obeyed. They do now.
I'm telling you the tool I used in the past for that kind of work, like it was
I've always used Rekuva.
Rekuva?
Yeah.
There's some data recovery thing.
Scalpel as well.
This was something that's even easier to use, though. It was designed for, I think it has image in the name, but it would get a bunch of different file formats. It looks at the header and the footer as it goes down a drive and pulls out everything that looks like a file format it knows about. But I don't remember what it was called.
Rekuva is a Windows-based tool for trying to undelete deleted files and maybe recover stuff that have been sent through the recycle bin. Scalpel's a Linux command line tool. I don't know whether it just works with JPEG file headers or whether you can use other file headers, but at the time I was interested in recovering the JPEG files from the hard disk. So I was using Scalpel. Scalpel, I had a lot more results, but it also tended to, when Windows caches the thumbnails for images, Scalpel tended to bring back a lot of the cached images. So I ended up with maybe, 24 gigabytes of images at the end, but a lot of them were cached on the disk. Which is interesting, actually, when you think about it, because that's quite interesting data that was left behind on the hard disk.
PhotoRec, that's the tool I used. PhotoRec lets you recover stuff, but it does more than just photos. Like I think we cover like PDFs, Word docs, and so forth. Also like EXEs and other things. So you could throw that at a drive that's been screwed up, and sometimes recover a ton of different little bits of data, probably more than you actually want. I think you could go in and say only show images, but yeah, PhotoRec is what I used, and it was like a super easy tool.
Yeah, the very first thing I did with the drive was DD'd it and then worked from the image. So I was trying to do everything the correct way.
Yeah. So you know how you get a back a Kickstarter and then don't get it for like 8 months.
I've had ones that are far worse than that.
Hurts. Sometimes you don't get them at all. But yeah, and also the intentions are good because I don't know whether Adrian's seen the talk on a guy gave a talk about some lockpicks. Do you know which one I'm on about?
Yes.
And you know the story about what happened to him?
Yeah, he spent the money on a family vacation of sorts, and he didn't save the right money where he needed to, so he couldn't go into production. My understanding he's slowly producing stuff now, but people I think are getting stuff, but it's taking forever and a day because he wasn't good at managing money.
Well, the story I heard was he was suffering from a lot of depression and in a bad place at the time, and some people came forward to help him to produce the kits that he promised. You know how they have this tiered system where you can pay more and you get a special kit, and then the lower down kits maybe prioritized lower than what the higher value stuff was. But this guy actually wanted to make the kits, and he was just at his wit's end, because even though the Kickstart was brilliant because it brought in the money that he required to be able to produce the kits, he hadn't factored in how much time it would take him to produce the amount of stuff that the people ordered when he did the Kickstart. And you know, if it was just one person working on it, I think he got a hackerspace involved. Somebody heard about the story, and then they helped him out making the kits as well as they could. But I don't know the end to the story yet, because I think the talk or the video that I saw about it was just at that point where they'd made the kits, and so I can't tell you what happened there.
Yeah, that's Skylar Town's Kickstarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Quite possibly.
And at least some people have gotten the kits since then. I got a project running with a buddy of mine who's his family does a lot of custom cutlery for like movies and such. The Hibben family, like the Sword of Kalis, that the family made that for Star Trek. He's working on making me some Damascus steel lockpicks.
Oh, that sounds awesome, man. They will look great.
Look great. Not very practical, really, but it should look kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I'd love to try and do some forging, and I've made my own lockpicks before, but I'd love to do some forging and casting.
Yeah, that's a skill I would really like to learn how to do.
And most of the lockpicks I've made have been out of either filler gauge, hacksaw blades, windshield wiper blades, or
underwires.
Raw underwires, the Bubatars or the Bogotatas.
Yeah, windscreen wiper blades and hacksaw blades are the way forward.
Yeah, well, if you really want to make a little nicer one homemade, look in the filler gauge steel. It's usually a little bit nicer material than a hacksaw blade.
I've seen people making them out of knives as well. The flexible steel that kind of those cheap knives are made from, and they were turning those into lockpicks.
Yeah. To explain to Adam, a lot of people in the InfoSec community, as a side hobby, do lockpicking. So a lot of the conferences we go to, they have a lockpicking village with a ton of different locks, padlocks, door locks embedded in like a piece of like 2x6, all sorts of stuff like that for people to practice the lockpicking skills on. They have contests and everything.
If you've never picked a lock, you should. It's great fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. I love it.
It's like a complete epiphany when you pick your first lock. You're like, oh my God. And then like
that was so easy.
Yeah, and then that instant you want to close the lock and do it again just to check it wasn't a mistake.
Same thing with handcuffs.
Oh yeah. And zip ties and
Zip ties.
oh, what are the other types of locks? I haven't got chance to get one of the kits to play with mortise locks. Yeah.
You forgot duct tape.
Now, when you say mortise lock, do you mean like the old lever lock style ones, the one with the classic keyhole shape?
Yeah, and shims as well. Shims on padlocks, they're quite good fun.
Yeah, I got a lot of shims laying around. I actually found out some of the Bluetooth locks I was researching. One of them was easy to open up with like plastic shims. They had this whole Bluetooth system for unlocking it. Where you shove a piece of thin plastic down through the shackle and turn, and you could pop them open.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I love those kind of hacks. It's like, you know, this is the most secure system. It's, you know, and then somebody comes along with a shim and just pops the lock open. Yeah, okay, secure.
Yeah, back in the day, we used to open everybody's lockers with the aluminum that were on the top of a floppy disk.
Yeah, yep, I remember doing that.
Yeah, I bought a lot of tools over the years just for playing around with. This is one I still want to get a chance to use. What I have here is a through the door tool. Basically, the idea is you have one of those double doors where there's a gap between the middle and there's a crash bar on the other side. The idea is
how many times have you actually used that on an engagement?
This one, none yet.
That looks awesome, dude.
That's sweet. I can just imagine. I can just imagine right now.
Well, I just had this conversation the other day because somebody was telling me that they're useless because you never use it in an engagement. I mean, it's a cool tool, but you never use it on an engagement.
It might get you a job though.
That reminds me of the one, you know, like the L door handles, the one that goes up underneath the door and unlocks the L.
Yes, the under the door tool. Sparrow makes one called, I think, the Reach or something. I have one of those. Unfortunately, you can't pack that thing easily. You know, I can't really easily carry it on an engagement unless I'm driving to an engagement. And while I'm walking around the building with this funny looking, like fishing pole looking thing, people are going to be looking at me weird.
Yep.
Right.
I've used that one on at least one engagement.
Oh, I wonder if you could make a telescoping one.
That's what we've been thinking about doing. I tried making something with interlocking aluminum tubes, but it wasn't flexible enough. It ended up just breaking.
My friend subcontracts with the council, and when I told him I was into lock picking, he bought me a council lock round, and you know, he threw it at me. He said, "I bet you can't pick that one." So like, he left. I picked the lock up, and I was like, 15 minutes later, click, open. I'm like, yeah. So
sorry, keep going.
So yeah, then I just called him back, and I was like, "Dude, you know that lock you gave me?" Yeah, and. He was like, "No, I can't believe that. That's the default lock we put on every premises that, you know, has a replacement door going on it." And I'm like, "Oh my God," you know. So,
you said Cancelot brand?
The council, yeah, the local council, when they put a replacement door on like the council houses.
What's the brand? What's the brand of the lock?
Oh, do you want? Bear with me. I'll go and dig it out. Hang on.
Yeah.
So Paul said that you can roll the under the door tool and put it in your backpack, and it looks like you're wearing an Ninja Turtle shell.
Yeah. I like what Brian Beck said in the Google chat. Picking my first lock and realizing it was not near the quality I thought it was. I had mixed feeling excitement that I felt the first time I found my strong email password in a TCP dump.
I can do most like a hardware store padlocks and so forth. I have at least one lock in my collection I've never gotten open though. An American tag out lock that was unmodified. It's all like spool pins and serrated pins, and supposedly one guy at B-Sides Detroit or Converge, it's basically the same con, was able to get it open supposedly, but I've never have.
So how secure are these things? Like, I don't know, say my apartment door, like if somebody knows what the hell they're doing, are locks like notoriously shitty?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, you have
Yes.
Because I know nothing about it.
From what I hear.
Like 2 minutes or less.
Really?
30
if
seconds.
they put some spool pins in it, it'll make it a lot more secure. Spool pin, instead of being like a normal straight pin, it has a little dip into it, and that gets locked up in the shear line when you're trying to pick a lock. I'd have to show you an illustration to give you a good idea of how lock picking works. But David Olive has a bunch on his website. but that would make it a lot more secure and probably put it beyond my ability to pick. In truth, though, people ask me what kind of lock I have on my front door. I just have a cheap quick set because I have windows. Most quicks are going to go through the window.
Yeah, dude, I have the cheapest locks. I mean, I can leave my doors. All summer long, I left my door unlocked and open because it wouldn't shut. I live in a town of like 3,000 people. Nobody's coming to my house.
Yeah, same way I grew up. I remember trying bump keys on my front door for the first time and having it crack open with a little screwdriver and everything. So.
Oh yeah. Bump keys are essentially keys that are taken down to the lowest level of the key for each one of the biddings. And the idea is you put it in, you take it out one notch, you hit it with a bump hammer while applying light bit of turning pressure as soon as you hit it. And if you do it right, it bounces all the pins up above the shear line. The key pins, the ones that touch the key, fall down first. And for a brief moment, you can hopefully open it. It doesn't work as magically as some people think it does, but on some doors, it works really well.
Yeah, what you need is like one of those gasket, like it's like a it's like an O-ring basically, and you get the right size, and it fits on the end of the key, and
it'll bounce it back out for you, so you don't have to pull it out
exactly. So you can just keep tapping it with the screwdriver as fast as you can, and it kind of bounces the key back out for you and resets it, and you can keep doing that, and then it's super quick. It's almost like brute forcing a lock.
I have one of those electric bump guns from China that will just vibrate a needle inside the keyway and basically just keep bouncing up down the pins. And that one I've had pretty good success with on cheap locks.
I would love one of those. I've been looking at them for a while.
Is it better getting the electric one than the hand pump one?
I've never had much luck with the hand pump one.
Do you not remember Johnny Long's talk, low-tech hacking or no-tech hacking?
Yeah.
Is that the older video?
Yeah, he does one with an electric toothbrush, you know, and then must put a lockpick in the end of the electric toothbrush.
That's great.
Yeah, so that'd be a cheaper option.
Yeah, I've tried that. I'm finding the right electric toothbrush that's got enough power to it to actually work is some of an issue. I've tried that before. It didn't work for me, but I mean, your mileage may vary depending on what toothbrush you're recycling into that purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my. I think I see Adam there vaping, right?
Yeah, I was.
You've been caught.
Here's a trick my buddy Paul showed me. You know how some doors are made to where you can open them from the inside because you've trimmed like electronic doors, but you can open them from the inside because a motion detector senses that you're there.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this hack. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
What people do is they'll blow smoke through the hole in the doors, and it'll trip the motion sensor. Then they can open the door from the outside.
Yeah, I've heard people using a can. I don't know if it was compressed air or something, because I don't imagine it being upside down would make that how much the smoke. But like spray cans and shit like that, they would spray it up, not like spray paint, but more like a smoke, and then set off the motion detection. Well, I think cool. I think the motion detection are mostly IR based anyways. So if you have that differential in temperature, like you would with compressed air upside down being really cold, then it would trip the same sensor. So
yeah, I think people have used compressed air before too.
Jesus.
Oh my!
Did someone just ride away on their motorcycle?
Oh yeah, I live in a busy intersection. I have to live with that every single day.
Here's one of Sammy doing it, but if he's using compressed air, apparently. Let's see. Yeah, he's got like this door here that he's trying to get through. And I've seen people do this with vape, but he's doing it with a compressed air thing. Sprays that on through, trips the motion sensor, they can open it from the outside.
Are you guys not getting my URL in chat?
What's that, man?
Which chat?
I'm trying to paste a URL in chat.
So if you put it in the live chat on the YouTube channel, all I did was replace the dot with the bracket dot, and it pastes to get around that you're not allowed to paste URLs. I don't know if it.
My internet is shitting out.
I would have thought it would paste it in the group chat on the Hangout though.
It would make things more convenient if we could people who just paste links, but I understand why they don't have it.
Because you're all hackers and you're gonna screw them over.
Just paste them all as hashes. It's just binary. Binary would be easy enough. Bypass. Fun.
Has anybody ever had any other cool door hacks? Why is it? I thought I told it to stop screen sharing. There we go.
There you go.
Door hacks that I'm willing to share in a Hangout.
Okay. How do you get into places? Truthfully, most physical penetration tests I've been involved with, someone just piggybacks in.
Pretty much.
You wait for some smoker to come back in from outside, and you follow him in. I picked locks a few times for work, just for fun, to show people, yes, this is what we can do. But generally, it's not necessary. I've also shimmed a few latches, because a lot of these latches aren't hung right.
You can do the credit card thing.
You can do the credit card trick, or there's something called Lloyding film, where even the latch is hidden behind the jam. It's flexible enough that you can get around the jam, but then still push down on the latch and open it up. Sparrow sells the stuff like I think they call them quick shims. But there's companies out of China that sell them as like nanometer sheets. But I think I've also seen people take like very thin plastic folders and turn them into essentially the same kind of tool.
I got this at a church.
Door lock? Okay.
What? Wait.
Bring it up again.
Open door with a oh. Huh.
And it's like metal. It's really good. Here, ask him for one.
That's great. What is it?
Look at it. That's their website. Every time I need one, I call them up.
Well, I think one of my roommates reset the router. God damn it.
You have a professionally made tool like that, except for it has the cuts out in it already. It's like called the Hall Pass.
Hang on. One of your roommates reset the router?
I think so, man. Like,
dude, go and crucify him.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I'm so glad I don't. Well, I have 3 tiny roommates, dude, but they're not here right now.
It's like if there's something wrong with your shit, it's not because of the router. So just stop it.
Yeah.
It's because you're hogging all the bandwidth streaming.
Oh, someone posted a graph here. I think it was an XKCD graph about how the likelihood of someone's technical competence versus whether or not to be able to text your Wi-Fi. And they're totally technically incompetent people would be like, where's the Wi-Fi icon? Most of the people in the middle would be like, oh, I'm connected just fine. And the one on the high end would be talking about firmware.
Yeah, or Steam.
They've gotten in and they've screwed up the system so bad they can't connect anymore.
Anyway.
Or you can run Wi-Fi Jammer. It works great to help you with the internet. Have you guys seen that tool, Wi-Fi Jammer?
I've seen a few tools for doing like DOF attacks. What are you referring to?
Presuming is that using that's got to be using the aircrack suite and using the deauth attack.
Yep.
Scanning for MAC addresses connected to SSIDs, and then if they're within range, deauthing them.
Yep.
Ooh, fun. Yeah.
It's like you.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's an auto script. Like you just put what you need in and it just does it for you. It does it very well too.
Nice. Yeah, but don't rely on scripts that are automated for you,
I know.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know, but it's open source. I can read what I'm playing with.
I could tell you horror stories about AutoPwn.
Tell me.
No.
Tell me stories.
Yeah, I use Mighty some for like doing wireless pen tests, but there's also been times where going in and actually using what is it, Reaper by itself to do like WPE. Wait, yeah. Oh no, it's the damn it. Is it WPE? The simplified push button thing.
WPS.
WPAS. Thank you. I sometimes actually using like Reaper to directly handle that to be able to get the key. It works better. But Wi-Fi is like one of these automated scripts for doing a lot of that. It'll do DOF attack for you to like decloak SIDs and such to try to say, okay, disattach, and then when they reattach, they have to send the SID in the plain text anyway. Then you can find the cloaked SID.
Well, my reasoning for AutoPwn is basically if you're running AutoPwn in an environment where you don't know what machines are connected to the environment and you don't know what services they're running, and you just run AutoPwn on an IP range, you're in for a bad time, especially if it's a live environment. You know, I've heard some.
That's when you take down their AS400 and their phone system, and
just everything goes offline. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was a DDoS attack. Yeah,
oh man, I accidentally DDoSed the company that I was working for by running a mass scan. Turns out the head-end firewall doesn't like being scanned, which seems like it would be something that an enterprise-grade firewall could handle. No, it took down like 30 VPNs. It was great.
Awesome.
I like how AutoPwn warned you you're going to be a nub.
Right.
It didn't used to. It never used to.
Are you sure you want to be a complete noob?
Yes, we should just give them for free and just get the old school Metasploit with the old school web-based thing, and then tell them this is the brand new Metasploit, man. This hasn't come out yet.
I think AutoPwn should have like next and I agree and stuff. Next, I agree, next.
Yeah, like 30 times.
Finish.
Wait, wasn't there a backtrack script for that? I forgot what it was called.
Terms and conditions.
Are you really sure you want to run this category of exploit? You know, actually, like a double question. You know, it says, "Do you want to run this exploit?" Yes.
No.
Are you really sure you want to run this exploit?
Hey, we can make it a trivia. So basically, do you know what you're doing? What does this do? Hey.
It should be like, I don't know if you guys played Leisure Suit Larry, but the way
Lounge Lizards.
The way they identified whether you're old enough to play the game is they would ask you a bunch of questions adults would only know. like who was the home run hitter for whatever back in 1978? It's like
so many sad adults.
Like
at least we can Google it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man, kids have Google now, don't they? So
yeah, you know. Like my kids would be able to find it out.
No, just imagine the beasts that are gonna come out of nowhere. 12-year-old hacks everything. Lives on the moon now.
Some of those little quest games are pretty cool. The one Sierra made, because I remember those King's Quest, which I don't think I had, Heroes Quest, which I played some of, Space Quest, and of course Leisure Suit Larry, I think was also a Sierra game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fucking the cat's tits, man.
Wait, is Luis the one with the girls and you went to the bars and you're like investigated a murder or something?
No, you're basically the whole point of the game is trying like not to get an STD.
Just like real life.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. I don't think.
Shit, I forgot people were watching this.
Shit.
Those people are well traveled.
Yeah, man, I gotta go to more fucking hacker cons and shit.
Some awful lot of fun.
Man,
all of you should go to B-Sides Nashville.
I couldn't do it. I had to be like behind a camera.
Aren't you glad you didn't go to Toronto?
It's working or something.
No, well, yeah.
Yeah, since the last hangout, somebody invited me to go to DEF CON and offered me space on their sofa, but
yeah.
I so want to go, but like,
come on.
Yeah, no, but I don't actually have a ticket for DEF CON, so I would be one of those really weird lurker people.
Buy the ticket there.
Yeah, you can't buy it beforehand. You have to wait.
Ah.
Well,
Yeah,
you
they
either
don't
have to
sell
wait
out,
in
they
a
just
really
keep it
long
out.
line, or you have to
Or
speak
be
or
a
volunteer.
presenter. If you
Hmm.
present,
Yeah.
if you're a presenter, you get a free ticket, or you can get cash.
Yeah, you think you get like a $200 honorarium.
Right, what are we working on?
What are we working on?
Bust out the UARTs and the
internet.
Keep in
FTDIs.
mind though, DEF CON is asshole to elbow people sometimes. It may be
Yes.
better this upcoming year because I'm moving to they're moving to the hotel that Black Hat used to be at Caesars.
Yeah, it should be better. I walked 10 miles a day last year. I volunteered for both Black Hat and DEF CON. So I was a speaker liaison for Black Hat, and I was on the camera crew as a goon for DEF CON, and I walked all day, every day.
Do you have a goon t-shirt?
I do. Oh, and I have the best. The best swag I think I got from DEF CON is they gave all of the volunteers these giant like flags.
Show us the flag. Let's see this.
Nylon flags that had like the DEF CON logo and it said Goon on the side, which was pretty cool.
So if you volunteer or you make it to goon status, then do you get any kind of discount on the tickets? Or I suppose
It's free.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
And you don't have to wait in line.
Yeah,
that's
generally
so
speaking, if you're a speaker or a volunteer, you're always getting free. My understanding is weird. I've heard actually with development conferences where even the speakers have to pay for a ticket.
Fuck that.
Yeah. That's in
Man.
San Francisco. Fuck San Francisco.
Nope.
No way.
I'm not paying to speak.
No way. It's not a business pitch.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for your benefit.
Right. You know, without us, there wouldn't be anything, right? So
We've got a great new integrated security suite though that we'd like to sell to you.
yeah.
Yeah, it does everything. You won't be hacked.
Pay for us to advertise to you.
It fixed all the cybers.
Yeah, that's it.
It's called Autopone. It's amazing.
I agree. Where do I sign?
That's great.
Did you hear about people leaving shells after running pen tests? Like they were unaware that they were leaving shells on boxes after they'd run the pen test and
Oh yeah, there was a talk on best people that get hired for security purposes to pen test the organization or whatever. They would be leaving shit behind that would make the organization more vulnerable because they would pop boxes and then they would leave shit and then it was more vulnerable.
That's a really, really bad pen tester.
I bet it was port 4444.
Because there was like a second pen tester that came in after first one, and they realized that there was a interpreter running on one of the machines from the last pen test. It's like, you idiots.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
I
that.
think that was an Autopone tool.
Autopone.
For sure.
I haven't seen that before, but I've seen stuff left behind from a previous pen test of like, this is the company name and a text file just to prove that we could write to this particular place.
Okay, yeah.
Or domain admins that have been left behind that they haven't removed.
I think I've seen some of that too. Well, I think ones I've seen have been the accounts there from the previous year, but they've just disabled it instead of deleted it.
Or being, I don't know, like trying to be covert and scanning a Jet Direct port as well is a bad move.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I
Adrian,
see. I'm part of the reason why in Nmap that was put down as a dangerous port to scan. I originally had Nmap set to scan my university network like, I don't know, twice a week or whatever, and it started printing out reams and reams of paper on all the machines.
Byte code?
Yeah, because Nmap seems to send these probes to see what the service is. So every one of those probes, it thought was like an ASCII message to send out to the printer. So like we wasted so much paper on the university. I talked to Fyodor about that, and he was like, oh yeah, and they added it to a list of ports that it'll say, yeah, 9100 is open, but I won't send any fingerprint probes to it because it's gonna cause problems. You can find public IPs out there that have printers. There's some easy search strings you can use to find them, and They might have port 9100 open. I know we've found a bunch open. He ended up sending Nazi propaganda to a ton of universities doing that crap.
Did you check out the link I
Holy
sent
shit.
on Google Hangouts, the exploitdb.com Google hacking database? You probably all know about that.
Yeah, I've seen one like that.
Yeah, I just used it the other day.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like search terms in Google that help you find vulnerable
Long.
sites and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a bunch of ones
Very
in there for
helpful.
printers.
So you're still using Google to find these things. It's not like Shodan where it's like a database of its own. It's like filters that are Google search terms, and it's just a link to actually searching that yourself on Google.
Oh, someone
You can
listed
use
last
web crawler. It does Google and Yahoo.
I'll put this in the.
week. Someone listed something as a Shodan alternative. I don't remember what.
Oh! I just give me a second. I was just looking at that earlier today. Shit! I have way too much stuff open.
Oh, another useful resource. This is for like metadata for
Did you find it?
like finding password reset questions. Like who's your what's your first male child's name? There's a website called FamilyTreeNow.com, and they give more information about addresses and familial relationships.
I opted out of that.
Most other free sites. But FamilyTreeNow.com.
You can opt out of it. I did.
I went in and opted out of it as well. At least I hope I did. I'm gonna run my name through it just to check.
Yeah, it worked. It took like a couple days, but I think it removed all my stuff.
So there's going to be some fish with 5 legs trying to search up your name 5,000 years from now, and they're not going to be able to find it because you opt out.
Yep. And I thought about not opting out because nobody ever visits me.
People can deliberately stalk you.
Yeah. Well, I've had stalkers. That's different.
Oh no.
You got Windows.
Don't become a 48 Hours episode, please.
Right. That's why I sleep on top of a shotgun. Not really.
You should have a panic room. Where's your panic room?
Panic room?
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah.
Nope.
Adrian, have you ever done any of the it's like where you put a blank key in and then you keep turning it? Yeah, imprint. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No, I should though. I have Lady Merlin and Deviant both they sent me this really nice Pippin file, which is designed especially for doing that with keys. I used it some for my research doing the TSA key recreations, but I haven't done any actual impressioning.
Damn it, Paul beat me to it. It's census.io. I just found it too.
Okay.
Yeah, impressioning is pretty interesting. It's like if you have enough time or you're passing by some lock that you want to get into and you're passing by it every day, you keep making an impression and you keep doing that every day until you get the bidding of the key eventually, because you wear the key down enough where you get the bidding. So I think it's pretty cool.
Then you find out what the key codes are by having one of those little measuring instruments, and you can get an actual professionally by the numbers key made for that door.
Right. You find the bidding of the key by the standard key depth, I guess, or bidding depth.
One of the things I've had fun with recently is elevator hacking. I ordered a set of keys for most of the common elevators you're going to find in the United States. And what it does is it allows you to go into independent service mode, where it'll ignore the call box on the outside. So you put that key in, you turn it. Wherever you inside tells that car to go, that's where that elevator car goes. And you can also like stop it on the floor and not do anything, like Deviant was talking about.
Where can I get this?
Deviant Olive sells them off of.
So we're gonna buy.
You're breaking up real bad, man.
Are they an
I'll
international?
put the link in the thing.
Yeah.
Are they an international standard, Adrian, or?
Well, it may be international also. I'd have to imagine Otis, like an Otis key in the United States would probably be an Otis key in Great Britain, but I don't know for sure. I'll go ahead and whip out my keys here in a second and show you what I got.
Hey, Adrian, is it on Dave's website?
I thought so. I got my set from him. I meant to reproduce some of them, but I can't reproduce the tubular ones because I don't have the equipment for that. I only have equipment for reproducing, flat keys. But let's see.
Those tubular lockpicks are pretty easy to use. I think they're pretty.
When they work, I mean, I've had times when they don't work particularly well, but yeah, when they work, they're pretty nifty.
You just push them in, and then you can lock them in place, and you can keep reusing them over and over again.
Ooh, this one I also couldn't reproduce. This is a Medico one, and not only does it have to raise the pins to a certain height, it has to angle the pins a certain way for a sidebar to fall out of the way, and then actually be able to turn the lock. So I can't really reproduce that one either, and that's probably not picking up on the camera. But you not only have the height of the pin, but also the angle that it's at. So you might be able to. This would be pretty damn hard to pick.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that one's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I have some friends who want me to reproduce the ones that I can, but I need to get on HL Flake and go ahead and order some key blanks to do that.
I was thinking about trying and 3D print a key. I don't know how. How much torque it can take before it breaks up.
Not much. People have been doing that for the TSA keys. To my knowledge, no one's actually reproduced a functioning 006 TSA key.
Did you find one?
I don't even know it. I found one. I have one sample of the lock.
Can you 3D print it, make a mold, and then cast it in something?
That's a possibility. What I've been doing is for the ones I can, I find the proper key blanks. And if you Google up TSA keys, Irongeek, or TSA keys, Adrian Crenshaw, it'll give information on mine. But I have a whole set of TSA keys that I found a proper blank for, or when it's close enough, and I went ahead and produced my own TSA keys. Let me go ahead and put the camera back on me. For instance, I found this one particular type of luggage lock that has a 007 key, and what I did was I took the key that it came with and was able to file it down even lower, so I found the master key, which is essentially what the TSA has. I also found the 004. That's essentially just a little T-shaped turning tool. There isn't much to that. That's another attempt at making a 007, which works in some of the locks. 002s, I found a few different blanks that will function for those. 002s are probably the second most common you'll find. 005s was essentially just this M2 key blank. It's like a common key blank for master lock.
How did you know about these master biddings?
Just because I know how a lock works, I can take one apart and figure it out. I mean, people are making a big deal about the pictures of the TSA keys being leaked online, but if you were willing to take apart a lock, you can sit there and do measurements. So
there was two different shear lines, kind of?
Yes, in some cases, that's how they do it. In the case of a lot of the disc tumbler locks, a lot of the wafer locks, there's two different keyways, side by side. I have an article out there on Trusted Sex blog about TSA keys and how they do it in different ways. But if you're willing to sacrifice a lock and take it apart, you can figure out the bidding. You don't need the picture.
Right. So you saw that there was an alternate bidding.
Pretty much, yeah. And what I would do is I'd put the key blank in there. Okay, is it raising the wafers to the right height? If not, file down a little bit more until it's just right and flush, and the inner core would be able to turn. But it's just a matter of try it, file, try it, file, try it, file, and look and see till you get everything lined up right.
Just like impression.
Whilst we're on the subject of locks, there's have you ever seen any defenses built into locks that if they detect being picked, they do something?
I've seen ones that if you don't get it open for a certain amount of time after touching it, it'll start making a little siren sound.
All right, that's quite interesting. The only reason I say that is the London show was held at Crystal Palace a long time ago, and I live in an industrial area in Wolverhampton. We were surrounded by many small industries, like there was lock making, ceramics. We got coal mining. Lots and lots of heavy industry anyway. So the lock making, for the London show, this you know, show off their skills, they made this lock, and this lock is 50 different locks that are all unique in their own, you know, way. But they were all controlled from one central lock in the middle. So you could turn one key and it would lock all 50 locks around the outside. And the individual locks were, you know, specialist kind of creations. And the one lock had got an anti-tampering device that had got a crossbow attached to the back of the lock. And if you attempted to pick the lock from the front, it would shoot a crossbow bolt through the eye of the lock, which I thought that was pretty cool. I
That
thought
could be an ouchie.
yeah, that's pretty James Bond. If you could make it automatically reload now, and you know, Bluetooth, IoT, somebody's just tried to lock your, you know, unlock your house, you need to call for an ambulance.
Yeah, I got a lock on the way. I think it's supposed to detect some tampering and so forth. You can unlock it with your phone, but also like Siren if it gets within a certain distance from your phone. It's like a little. It's called Airbolt. It's a Bluetooth lock that's TSA going to be TSA approved. And it's supposed to have some tracking functionality, so you know where your baggage is as well. Unfortunately, that's another one of those Kickstarter kind of projects where I think I was supposed to get it 6 months ago, and I still don't have it.
So in the YouTube thing, they're talking about going after car doors. Like
See, that I don't have a lot of
like-
experience with. So if someone else has experience with that, go ahead and relate it.
Oh,
Isn't
well,
isn't there that one with a tennis ball? I don't know if it's an urban myth or, you know.
I thought that was a myth.
Yeah, maybe.
So I used to have a habit of locking my keys in my car a lot. And then I had talked to Deviant about, you know, going after locks on cars and that kind of stuff. And basically he said it's just easier to use the wedges in the bladder that you can get online.
Yeah, use a Slim Jim that you go down through the side and open it that way. Yeah, I have a few of those practice disc tumbler, wafer locks that are in cars that I got from Sparrows. Once you get beyond the sixth wafer one, I can't open it.
We did a car boot, the car boot that like the cops use for impounding, right? We did one of those at GurCon a couple years ago. That was kind of fun.
What kind of lock do they have on those? Just normal pin tumbler?
It was the round one.
You can also a hoop on the end of a stick and just pull the car door frame out and undo the handle. Yeah, there's a lot of cars now that have some kind of mechanism that stops you from actually doing that.
Yep.
But you know, that's an old trick that's used.
Yeah, I've had to break into my car a couple times, different types of cars, and the Slim Jim method worked with the seal on the window, and you go down in the actual window, in between, like inside of the door itself, and then you pull the mechanism and it unlocks the lock. That usually works for ones with the pull up and down lock. Almost looks like a golf tee, you know those ones?
Mm-hmm.
Go up and up, and
which are on a lot of older cars.
yeah, right. So, but the method that always works the best, and the one you'll see locksmiths use, is a skinny little bladder system that they stick in between the door and the frame of the car, and they'll pump it up almost like a turkey baster, like that little pump.
No, it's like the thing that goes on your arm when you're taking your blood pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And they pump it. They pump it up, and it opens up. It cracks open the door enough so they can stick something down and actually just push the button, like unlock or pull something with a coat hanger.
I've probably seen that used at least a dozen times, unfortunately.
The only bad thing that happened to me, it kind of like bends your door frame just a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of fucks up the seal on the door, so next time it's raining, it like comes down on your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just pull my door back in, but
You're coming in really low, Adam.
oh, sorry. Yeah, it can definitely fuck up your door, but I was able to just like gently pull on it and kind of get it back into place. So.
Has anyone built one like from scratch, DIY it?
No, I think
Tried
it's
it with
better
the
to
coat
just
hanger, but
buy. Yeah.
I'm talking
I'm
about
sure-
the bladder part. The
The bladder part?
Yeah.
I'm
'cause
sure
I
there's
have
an
one of those.
eBay kind of thing.
I mean,
They're
I
fairly
got
cheap
one.
online.
Yeah. I was just wondering if anybody like went out there like MacGyver style and fucking made one from scratch.
I've used a spatula, which had the same effect.
Yeah.
A metal spatula.
Yeah, a piece of rope or something. Or...
I've seen people use
Coat hangers.
hockey sticks because it's Canada.
What?
Have you guys ever used tennis balls and just push the air in?
See, I still don't know if that's actually a real thing or not.
Oh,
Yeah,
bullshit.
I think it's bullshit.
Busted.
Maybe,
It's
maybe it
bullshit,
was
it's
with one
bullshit.
certain type of lock. Maybe it's just like
I'm
one,
just
you know.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I saw the video, the whatever.
Have you ever farted on a lock and had it open?
All the time.
Apparently, shit. Don't give away my superpowers.
That's the weirdest superpower ever.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
No, I mean if you're really stuck and you need to get into a car and you can't do that and you don't want to damage the door by buckling the thing, you can always pull the seals out of the windows. But like these are, you know, it's not kind of like a quick entry method. They're kind of like known. It's what you do if you got the time to put the stuff back together afterwards.
You
You
all
can
remember
take
the classic trick on the kryptonite bike locks where someone figured out you could take a big pin cap and
Yep,
self-impress.
I've seen it. Yep, I've seen it. Yeah.
Basically, you just grind it down in there, and wherever the pin is locking up is what's going to get pushed in further on the big pin cap. And so in the end, you end up having a little key for that a very cheap tubular lock.
Man, I love innovations like that. They're so fucking awesome. Like,
So what's that lock called?
A kryptonite bike lock. Apparently, kryptonite for a while was using good tubular cores. Then they went to some cheaper manufacturer, and the cheaper manufacturer, it had such bad tolerances that you could use a big pin cap to be able to do a self-impressioning attack against the pins and essentially make a key out of the big.
Oh, I see.
Now
So you're
they
like-
since fixed it, my understanding, but for a while there, that was a feasible attack. This was like kryptonite bike locks from like the late '90s, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so did you have to like heat up the cap so that the plastic would kind
No,
of?
it was very soft to begin with.
Okay. Crazy. I saw a lock that was like like a bolt and a nut. You know the way the nut looks, but it was like the opposite of the nut. It was a void in the lock, but it was in the shape of like a hexagon kind of thing. And in the middle of it, it had a pin, and I wasn't sure what it was. It's almost just like a security bitting or something like that. It must have been, but it was almost like a lock at the same time, which was really well. This was on like a box with a bunch of fiber optic shit inside of it. So
I found sometimes the locks that are used to secure other keys are bad. Like there was this one client we went to. They had some good locks on a lot of places, like little Medico locks that I would not be able to pick. However, they kept the keys for all the other stuff in a little crappy lock box that was hung on the wall, and that just had a shitty wafer lock that I could open in like 2 seconds.
right. I'll send you a link to one of these security bit things, and you can have a look. It was bigger than any security bit though I've ever seen.
Oh, have you seen these bottle locks that people have been coming out with for like locking up your wine bottles and shit?
No, that sounds.
What about getting ones just for a drinking game?
But oh, I see what you mean. But that you could smash the bottle, couldn't you?
Yeah, but then you go get glass all in your beverage.
Well, not necessarily. If you scored the bottle at the line of where the drink was, and then you heated it and cooled it rapidly,
Yeah,
the top of the bottle.
owner of the bottle is going to know that you did it.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah. But you'd get the booze.
So what other InfoSec topics do we have?
Hold on, sorry guys, I gotta run.
All right.
Had fun though. Thanks for inviting
You
me.
guys talk about lava bit?
Coming on, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
No worries, peace, dude.
Later, Adam.
When I brought up the whole Kickstarter thing, I was actually going to show you what I got from Kickstarter. So let's see if I can. Can you see that?
Yes.
Is that a micro SD?
No, it's a little Arduino thing that's used for controlling light, motion, and sound. So my kids and I, for their birthday, there's a local like indoor water park that we went to, and they have this wizard game, and it's all RFID things controlled by this wand. So they like turn on lights and activate videos and stuff like that. And I'm bored as they're running around, to a million different floors trying to find everything. It's like a scavenger hunt type thing. So I was looking up how to hack the wands. And I found something online where someone had hooked it up so they could actually use the wands at home. So I found, it's called a Fire Cricket. I found it online on a Kickstarter, and it's supposed to let you, control lights and do different things with movement sensors and stuff like that. So that's my project, and going to hopefully force me to learn how to code.
It shouldn't. You shouldn't have to be forced to learn to code.
I've always wanted to learn, but it never has come to me easily, like everything else.
Scratch.
I think every good coder is a really good Googler as well. I mean, like sometimes it's being able to find the solution to your problem in the quickest time and understanding what that solution is, because copy and paste coding isn't a good way of going about things. But
right.
I programmed many a thing via Stack Overflow.
Yeah, it's the best way of going about stuff to learn. Like, as long as you're getting your information from a reliable source, and it's not somebody like saying, "Yeah, HTTP login is completely acceptable." Like,
Yeah, I think the best way of learning is to force yourself into a dead end. Like, purposely don't look for the solution until you really have to, and that kind of forces you to try and come up with the solution yourself. And then if you're not successful, then you search it and you go, that's something I totally would not have thought of. And that's when you have that click. Right?
Yeah, but then you realize that you've absolutely run around the woods and your code's like doing a million other things that it shouldn't be. And this person's done it in 2 lines.
Yeah. Well, maybe your Google foo has to be on par as well.
I've been reading Learning Python the Hard Way. I'm kind of going through all of the exercises.
Python's cool. It's a bit heavyweight though if you're trying to compile anything into an exe, or there's so many includes and stuff.
It's a resource hog too.
Yeah.
So I was looking up the Fire Cricket. The Fire Cricket is an Arduino-compatible light, sound, and motion controller featuring a 48 megahertz 32-bit ARM Cortex M0 Plus microcontroller. Yada yada yada. Micro SD slot, store sound effects, bitmaps, configuration files, 2.5 watt audio amplifier, an N-channel MOSFET with flyback diode for driving high current inductive loads, like vibration motors or 3-watt LEDs. So that's pretty cool.
So my kids think once I learn how to, because I told them it's going to take a little bit because I need to learn how to do all of this. They think they're going to be able to turn anything in the house on and off. So
you could.
Yeah, maybe. But they want to like change the channel with it, which I guess I could probably do eventually, but no.
Get like a used live watch thing. Like the live watch, sorry.
No, carry on, dude.
No, I was saying that you can get like one of the live watch, like used like Android panels, and then she can just link her whole house through that without getting the service.
Yep.
And you can like link all kinds of lights and stuff to it. And they're fairly cheap too, the used ones.
In my opinion, there's only one machine you should be automating, or 2 actually: the coffee machine and the kettle.
Oh, see, I don't drink coffee.
I've always wanted to automate my coffee and my tea machine.
Yeah.
Tea machine? Tea machine, I mean kettle. Sorry.
That's the tea machine. My tea machine is my microwave.
The H2O particle exciter.
I like how the first webcam was invented to stare at a coffee pot to find out how full it was.
Really?
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Wasn't also like weird old internet trivia? If I recall right, the first item ever on sale on eBay was a broken laser pointer.
So your cats wouldn't fight.
I have no idea, but that sounds completely viable.
The good thing about the Fire Cricket, it sounds like it's Arduino IDE compatible. So as long as you know C,
Yep.
you can kind of
I don't.
get
Well,
through it.
Arduino makes it basically even more simplified C. Because a lot of the stuff that you have to do normally, you don't have to do. Arduino takes care of it for you. So
Oh, yeah.
So I know how
Yeah.
how to do some stuff in like the Splunk query language, and that's the only thing that I know how to do anything with. So I'll learn. I'll get there.
Arduino is really easy going, and it really helps learning C. Like if you can learn how to program in the Arduino, then C starts to become a little bit easier.
Here's an example. Let's say you want your kids to be able to do their magic wand and turn on the light beside your couch. Then you could just toggle a pin, which would trigger a relay, and the relay would control the 120 volts that your lamp needs, but you're only supplying 5 volts from the Fire Cricket. So you could have it so you just go, one of the commands in the Arduino IDE would be like digital write pin 1, well, let's say pin 5, because pin 1 I think is like UART kind of stuff. So like pin 5, digital write pin 5, high. Okay, turns on the relay. There you go. It'd be simple like that.
That'd be pretty cool. And I got 2 of them too. So
yeah, I'm thinking a little Arduino device is probably the best way to introduce kids to like programming because it's something you can tactically see, like blinking on an LED on and off or making a motor turn.
let's worry about me learning first.
Well, I was talking about teaching kids how to, so.
Right.
What I learned when I was a kid was actually Lego Mindstorms. It's Lego that has conductive blocks, and when you connect them together, like some of the blocks are sensors and stuff. So
Like
I would like make
circuits.
something. Yeah, exactly. I would make it like had this microcontroller unit, and all your blocks would have to connect up to that. But I would make stuff that would, like, when my mom turned on the light in the room, I would throw like a paper ball at her with this catapult thing, because it would sense that the light was over a certain threshold, and then it would move the motor and shit like that. So
Yeah, I had a first gen set of them. I think they've got cooler stuff now. Way back when I got mine, I think you had to actually hook to it via like a 9 dB serial port connector, or DB9 serial port connector.
yeah, that's right. Mine had an IR. It actually programmed it over IR, but it would connect to a D9 connector.
Sounds like a fun toy.
Did any of you guys have the old electronics kits, the ones with the little springs where you'd get the jumper wires and then wire them together?
I never had one. I wanted one. I remember seeing them at Radio Shack a lot.
Oh, they were great fun.
I've heard about them. I wish I had one when I was growing up, because I've heard of things like radios and shit you can make with them.
Yeah, for everybody under 40, Radio Shack used to sell more than just.
I think I have one. I'm gonna
There's
go
still
get it.
Radio Shacks?
Yeah, apparently. Well, maybe they're on. I don't know. Did they go out? All the ones in my area are gone. So
I thought
maybe
they went out of business.
maybe they did.
Oh yeah, Radio Shack went out of business.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
I don't have a Fry's or Micro Center nearby, so if I want components now, I pretty much can't get it.
Yeah, I have to drive to Columbus.
The Source bought out Radio Shack, and then they took all of the electronic shit out of it, and now it's all mainstream bullshit.
But it's still a thing.
Oh yeah, they'll sell you an Acer computer and shitty printer.
Just like every other big box store.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of miss being able to actually go and get components. I mean, everything's cheaper online anyway, but sometimes you have that one little component you need, like a little switch or something. You can actually, I've seen a few hardware stores that carry stuff like that, but it's not very common.
I usually have a few things that I want to buy, and when that list gets big enough, it goes in a DigiKey shopping cart, and I pay the $7 and I get it in 2 days.
Or here, you can build this. You guys remember this? Ever had this?
Freescale semiconductors, yeah.
Yeah, the little Radio Shack stuff. Still have them around.
What is that?
Oh, that's cool.
This?
Is that like a Z80 something?
That's it's like a serial. It's like a UART, but for like old school serial computers. You hook up to the motherboard and shit.
What does it do?
You can just program the firmware in the motherboard and stuff. It's really old.
Takes up space.
Huh? I collect them. I like it. I build it myself. Look at it. You see, look.
By the way, Adrian, the make of that lock from earlier,
Nice.
it was an era.
Yeah.
Yeah, an era, and it's very similar to Yale. I don't know whether they're a maker that you would have in the US. They're quite well known in the UK.
Here, I'll show you the Proxmark 3 I soldered up.
Sweet.
That was what I was talking about earlier. The hardest thing I've ever soldered up.
That's nice.
So
That's very tiny solders. Yeah.
Well, I reflow
And a lot of
it, right?
Did you do all of them?
I had to do it in a reflow oven.
Oh, okay.
No way I'm going to do that by hand. So.
How many shorts did you have to pull out from the chips? Any?
Nothing, no. But the only thing was there was a schematic, a different schematic that had a different value of capacitor on it, and I couldn't read the high frequency cards. And I was like, I can read the low frequency cards, but I can't read the high frequency. So what the fuck's going on? It was the wrong capacitor value. So I hand soldered them and swapped them out, and it worked after that. I was like, oh, sweet.
Sweet.
I'm a ninja at pulling shorts out, man.
Shit, I'm about to solder some like micro mini coaxial fucking female ports.
I've been doing a lot of soldering under the microscope at work and stuff. So the next purchase will be a microscope for me, I think.
So if you know when you solder under a microscope, do you have controls like X, Y, and Z for the solder? You know.
No, that's your hand, man, and hopefully you haven't drank too much caffeine.
Get one with a camera. They're really good with a camera. Like, don't try to put your eye through that. It sucks.
The camera though is like it's not stereoscopic. You got one lens, depending on which one you got.
But
and then there's a lag, right? So you're trying to move your hands, and it's like, oh, it's a little bit of lag.
Have you seen it when they solder the trace wires onto microchips using the microscopes?
Oh, like on a die?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. When they make the microchips, like inside ICs, which are the little black chips that you see on most circuit boards, the trace wires are soldered usually gold and absolutely microscopic, and it's an amazing process that they go through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there how it's made by any chance?
There may well be. There's Dave Jones did a little bit on silicon dyes, and maybe there's a couple of DEF CON talks possibly that have gone into maybe very light detail about that process. When they were doing the decapping talk, I think they went into a little bit of detail about it. But
yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, see, I've not done any of the like smaller surface mount electronics. I've pretty much only done hobby electronics and through-hole stuff.
I'm a complete noob. Advanced is pretty much the man when it comes to electronics. If ever I get stuck, I'm always picking his brains. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, I like to get a keylogger built and get out there in the market, because keyloggers cost way more than they should for what they are. And I'd love to have something I could, like, mass produce and just put out there for people.
That's completely possible.
I thought you said tequila. I was like, that helps me solder all the time.
Well, I wrote an article.
It's pretty cheap.
I wrote an article about 10 years ago on keyloggers, and people are asking me now for, like, what's the best thing right now? I'm like, I have no idea. I got a bunch of companies that send me free keyloggers for testing, and I published my information, but I haven't updated in like 10 years, so I have no idea what's good now.
I wonder, could you make it where the keylogger has a Bluetooth connection to your phone and you can extract all the data directly into like a
Someone
file?
really sells one like that,
Yeah, you could do that,
Yeah, who sells it? I was gonna
Google up Bluetooth keylogger. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
there's such a markup on those things. I should probably make one.
Do it.
I'll buy one.
I'll help you build it. I know
I'll
AutoCAD.
watch.
No BS.
Oh, there's 3 people. That's all the support I need.
Actually, I did a search for a Bluetooth keylogger, and my website was my first link that comes up.
Oh, really?
But yeah, look around. I think KeyGrabber makes one that like that. It's like keylog.com. I believe they make one that does something along those lines.
I have a key grabber one that looks for a certain combination of keys and then mounts itself as a drive, and then you can pull the text document out of it.
But I have a question. But do you still can you still, like, say, have a backup on the USB drive and then transfer it if you want to as an extra feature, or is it just like a Bluetooth link that you can use?
I assume if you can do that. I don't know. You'd have to Google it around. Like I said, I haven't done research on it in like 10 years.
I'll try it out. Yeah.
So Ted says, how about a keylogger that doesn't get picked up by malware scans?
You're talking about software keyloggers. Hardware keyloggers generally never get detected.
Yeah, hardware ones are.
I've seen some that show up as a USB hub type device, and actually that's the reason that one teacher I know didn't know what a hub was, USB hub was, because she asked when I put in my paper about USB malicious devices. Sometimes shows up as a USB hub type device, and she goes, "What's a USB hub?" I know it is in reference to networking, but not USB. Anyway, there is at least 1 or 2 that show up as a USB hub, but generally they're completely passive.
There's a presentation recently about the Logitech keyboards and mice.
Yep. With the Unify.
Yeah, I don't know whether the RTL is powerful enough to do any of the decoding. I think you need to probably use HackRF or the more powerful units that have got a better refresh rate.
Yeah, I started to talk about some wireless keyboard and intercepting its keystrokes at ShmooCon a few years back.
Yeah, I mean you can do. Sorry, I mean with the Ubertooth is really fun too. With the Unify, I've been doing tests, and there's this other one with this 2.4 gigahertz antenna that the same guy who did that presentation at DEF CON with the Unify.
Cool. Well, folks, we've been going for 3 hours. I see Amanda yawning in the background, and I'm getting sleepy as well.
Dude, right when I came home, I just came back. I did a boot camp class at the gym I'm going to, and I feel like I'm gonna die. So
anybody got any last words besides Amanda dying?
Until next time.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
See you next Wednesday about 7 o'clock. We'll start the stream. Though we'll do the Google Hangout. We'll probably start about 6:45 or so.
Awesome.
Everything. That's my final word. Hack
everything.
Yeah, everything.
Hack all the things.
Buy my book.
You guys have a good night.
Buy my book.
Bye.
Persistence now.
One more rum and then I'm going to bed. So.
One more rum.
Yep.
Hey, what book? I don't know about this book.